2017 Hot 6 GSL Season 1 Codex.
All right, let's do this. We are in the round of 4. This is day 1. sOs is back. We had a long break. We had a lot of fun at the Intel Extreme Masters in Katowice. But now, it's GSL Codex time.
Yes, the most important time of all. The round of 4 is here. Best of 7s today and Saturday. The round of 4 is super exciting, Tastes, especially today. sOo, the 4-time in a row GSL finalist, going up against last season's GSL finalist, who lost, but also happens to be a 2-time world champion, sOs.
sOs has been very hungry to win a GSL Codex for a long time. It's something he's basically done everything except this.
Yeah.
And of course, sOo is a guy who seems to, when he gets this far, always get to a finals.
Yeah, this is really exciting to see if sOo can actually do it, right? Because Zerg started falling out very early. He is the lone survivor, still trying to push forward. And here's the thing. It's been a while since we've had GSL, so whatever you think you know about these two players and how well they're going to play tonight, throw it out the window. They've had so long, and they've known about this match for so long, that they have prepared their asses off. It is so hard to predict what we will see or who will outplay who tonight.
And just briefly here, we of course do want you to not just miss or watch, not just watch this, but join us on Saturday for Stats vs. React.
All right, interview time. Is that a diamond Zerg earring? I know what I'm getting you for our next anniversary, Tastes.
김유진 선수입니다. 안녕하세요. 안녕하세요.
5-time GSL finalist.
와, 드디어
Welcome back.
4강입니다. 그쵸?
Let's get this interview going.
참 중요한
round of 4, of
경기인데
course.
긴장감이 있을 것 같은데 어이수 선수 좀 긴장되지 않으세요?
네, 긴장 많이 하고 있어요.
네.
You must be really nervous since it's so important. sOo says, yeah, he's very
그래서
nervous
많은 분들의
actually.
응원도 받고 있는데 부담감은 없어요?
많이 기대해 주시는 분들이 많아서 부담은 되지만 되게
You get support from a lot of fans. Do you feel pressure from
결승에
that?
갈 수 있을 것 같아요.
네.
Says, yeah.
김유진 선수 지난 시즌 준우승에 이어서
He
이번에도
feels a little bit of pressure, but the fan support really motivates him more than anything.
긴장되진 않으세요?
우선 엄청 긴장되고요.
Ask SOS if he's nervous. He says he's really nervous, but we know the cucaracha is never nervous.
연습 열심히 했으니까 좋은 결과 있을 것 같아요.
네.
He hopes
참
that.
이 지난 결승전에서 이 플레이에 대해서 되게 냉정하게
He says if he does his best, he can win today.
이번 시즌 이제 결승까지 한 걸음 남은 만큼 준비 열심히 해오셨을 것 같은데 만족하세요?
준비할 수 있는 만큼은
Must have prepared really hard. How was your
상대
preparation?
선수도 그렇게 해왔을 것 같아서
네.
붙어봐야 될 것 같아요.
네.
I did what I
정말 기대가
could.
되는 게 두 선수 모두 다전제 경험도
But I
풍부하고
suspect
또
that sOo has
노련한 게
prepared a lot as well.
강점이잖아요. 그래서 준비하기
So anyways,
쉽지
let's just see
않았을 것
like how it
같거든요.
goes.
특히나 상대는 결승전의 최강이라는 어윤수 선수이고 그래서 이 선수가 어떻게 준비했나 많이 보시면 했을 것 같아요.
You're meeting sOo.
어때요? 좀 기대되세요?
He's normally invincible until he hits the finals.
경기하는 거 많이 봤는데
네.
How do you expect the match to go?
잘하더라고요.
네.
그래서 굉장히 걱정이 되기는 하네요.
네, 상대가 참 준비를 잘했을 것 같죠. 자 그리고
SOS
어윤수 선수도
watched his stream
상대가
some,
김유진 선수인
and he
만큼
feels
준비가
like
쉽지
he
않았을
is
것
such
같습니다.
a
어때요?
strong Zerg
상대가
player, so he's a
준비
bit
어땠을
worried
것
about
같아요?
that.
워낙 뭐 할지 모르는 애라서
Yes, also, how do you
머리가 많이
expect
아팠는데
tonight's matches against SOS to
저런
go?
애를 이기려면 저도 저렇게 하면 이길 것 같아서
네.
저도 좀
Says, well, I mean, he uses so many
아,
weird
그래요?
builds and
나도
he's so
김유진이
unpredictable.
되겠다. 전략이 괜찮은 것 같은데 자 김유진 선수와 어윤수
There's
선수
only one way to
모두
win against this type of
우승에
player.
대한 강렬한
I have to be like
열망이 있거든요.
SOS.
절대 포기할 수 없는 승부 시작하기 전에
He's gotta make
서로에게
war
강력한
prisms.
한마디씩 나눠보겠습니다.
Maybe he just makes
어윤수
roaches.
선수 먼저 할까요?
Ooh.
우승에 대한 열망.
Alright, final words, guys.
저만큼 큰 사람은 없다고 생각하고 제가 그 열망을 오늘 보여드리겠습니다.
네. GSL에서 3번 더 준우승하고 오라고 하는데.
sOo says
자 김유진 선수
he
허락해
is
주시죠.
eager to grab a championship trophy, and it's time for him to show his performance tonight.
열망은 조금 적지만
네.
그래도 잘 준비해왔고
네.
지금 좀
Says, well,
긴장되는데
I've been a champion before.
이용해서 좋은 경기 했으면 좋겠어요.
So I don't really
자,
have
이에
that
김민
much anxiety.
선수는 긴장의 끈을 이용하겠다 화답을 해주셨는데요.
But
과연
I'll do
어떤
my best
선수가
tonight,
이번 시즌
and let's have good
결승에
games.
진출하는 주인공이 될까요? 그럼 오늘 경기 중계진과 함께하겠습니다.
All right, that does it, guys. And now we're going to be going into this match shortly. sOO versus sOs. Oh, so sick, guys. Tell your friends to join us. Day 1 of the Final Four.
Woo.
경기 결과는 예측이 어려졌어요.
그렇죠. 힘 보세요. 분위기 만들죠. 와일드 몬스타에 들어가서 하나씩 뚫어주는 그런 관계 황준혁 선수 보여주거든요. 와, 뚫어버리네요.
하지만 한 가지 변수가 있었다면 살짝 유리하잖아요. 그런 측면에서 김민 선수 약간 불리했던 것도 있었고 게다가 떠나고
All right, we are moments away from starting game number 1. This is a best of 7. A very interesting Final Four here, but on this side of the bracket, sOO versus sOs, I'm happy no matter who moves on.
Yeah, it literally doesn't matter.
It's a cool story no matter what.
Well, these guys are like two of the best players I have in the finals. They've got more personality than just about anyone and more skill as well.
That's true. And we've seen these guys develop so much throughout the long history of StarCraft 2. It's really fun to be here in 2017 and see these two guys duking it out. sOO, who has been so consistent in a GSL CODES, but at the same time, sOs, this is the last thing he has to do, really, and he's accomplished everything you can accomplish in StarCraft 2.
The mothership can come and beam him up once he wins a GSL
That's
CODES.
right.
Okay, he's done it all. Two-time world champion. If he takes this, I mean, he's an I am world champion. Like, he's done so much, which takes some pressure off of him. But again, sOO, when he gets this far, he goes to the finals, right? And then he'll start winning the finals, then he'll lose the finals. That's generally how that goes with sOO.
We were predicting it will probably be a good amount of very quick games today.
Yeah, I think so.
Both these guys, I think, in this, for their respective playstyles, maybe rushing each other a lot. Now, that being said, they do have solid late game, but sOO, in this tournament as well, I really feel like has shown that when he has to win, he will try to, sweep the rug out from under his opponent, go for some really quick attacks. Of course, sOs he's got the weirdest builds. He's the weirdest guy to play against in all of StarCraft 2. You just don't know what he's going to do. He gets in these odd situations that a normal top-tier pro gamer would fall apart or panic in, and he just navigates it perfectly.
He is universally voted, like every time anyone is asked, the one player no one wants to play against because he is just so tough to predict. He plays so many mind games. Pros generally consider him even scarier than Innovation, which is like a crazy thing to say. But as far as this series goes, Tasteless, like it's been so long, right, since GSL was on.
Right.
Like these guys, we just don't know what they have prepared. They've had so much prep time for this. This is the important match right here. So they could show us really anything, but you and I do agree that this is probably going to be very aggressive. I think from both sides. I think sOs is going to be trying to end it quickly, maybe adepts, maybe lots of force fields, that type of thing. Whereas sOO, maybe some Ling Bane all in, maybe some Bane Hydra type play. But I mean, the thing is with sOs in the game, hell, maybe it goes carriers 4 games. That's a possibility. That's the thing.
We just don't know. We just don't know. And with sOO, the perfect range of Zerg. There's really nothing he can't do.
Yeah. Win a GSL?
Yeah, that's true.
That's about it.
Can't win a GSL CODES just yet. our whole Final Four makeup is exciting no matter how you add it up.
Yeah.
I would say that SOS should be the favorite, but if sOo
Yeah.
wins, I don't really think we can be that surprised.
No, I wouldn't be too surprised because SOS is like super deadly, and this is a best of 7, so I favor him. And like when he has time to plan stuff, it's so scary. But like his same strengths are his weaknesses, right?
Yeah.
If he gets figured out a little bit, the mind games he's trying to play, players can bowl him over. So I don't know, man. If sOo takes it, I'm not super duper surprised, but I kind of feel like this is SOS's season to lose right now.
All right, game number 1 in a best of 7. Let's see what builds they show as we go into this. Again, they're going to be trying to farm out as much information as possible, trying to get any kind of read here. I think SOS still probably the hardest player to read in all of StarCraft 2.
Oh, yeah.
sOo definitely knows when to take a risk, and a lot of times when he does it, it pays off, but sometimes he'll play a very standard game at that and try to bring in the macro. And with a lot of SOS's weird builds, if sOo simply deflects it, I am certain that sOo could position himself to maintain a lead.
Oh, absolutely the case. He is the strongest Zerg in the world after dark, and maybe even stronger at this moment. We will see going into this match. Guys, get out there, tell your friends, because it's a beautiful day. You woke up once again today. Life is amazing. And this GSL Code S match, this best of 7 between 2 of the greatest ever to have played the game, it doesn't get any better than this.
All right, guys, we are ready. This is game number 1, sOo versus SOS. In the bottom right, in the blue, our Zerg player,
sOo.
and his opponent here in the upper left in the red.
Jin Air Green Wings, SOS.
One player on a team, one who's not.
Yep. Very solid crowd coming out tonight so far. But I think since we had such a long drought in between the round of 8 and the round of 4, people don't realize, oh my God, the round of 4 is on right now. So go out, spread that word, get nerds on here. And this match it's sure to pay off, man. Like, even if this is a 4-0, it's going to be crazy.
Oh, yeah. I don't think it will be a 4-0.
No, that would be
To be
weird.
honest, that would be a little bit surprising. Although it would definitely indicate that whoever gets into the finals on the other side is going to be up for a real challenge. Now, as far as builds go for the beginnings here, we got a gateway into Nexus going into core here, so very standard build for SOS. We don't really know where he's going to take the game from here. We do want to keep our eyes on the best cheese is Protoss cheese. I would agree. I would agree with that.
Or Canadian poutine.
Canadian poutine is pretty good.
Yeah, my wife really likes it.
Your wife's Canadian.
That's right.
Yeah.
That would be why.
That would explain it.
Why do you like it, though? You're not Canadian.
I want to be.
Yeah.
Currently. No, look, I think we want to keep our eyes on the production tab here for sOo because he may do some kind of aggressive build coming up here. We don't know for sure, but he's done it a lot in this season of the GSL, and I don't think this would be an exception. Now, when you get this far in a tournament like this, where each match in the tournament you have sometimes a week or more to prepare, you have a lot of time to research your opponent, so we can have, especially in this phase of the tournament, very tailored builds. Not even necessarily so much for the map itself. Obviously, the match was going to be factored in, but simply for the player that they're playing against and how they've tried to play on this map so far.
Yeah, that's a very good point. This map, like, we've seen a lot of games on Echo, but it's an older map, so it's not on the ladder, which means
That's
that
right.
all of their prep for this map had to be in custom games. So just something to kind of put out there. Like, obviously these guys know each other's ladder accounts, even if they're borrowing. They're both of such a high level that it's pretty easy for these guys to tell who they're up against when they're playing. You know, there's like, you play against SOS on the ladder, you're like, okay, well, there's 5 Protoss in the world of this level, and you played like this, so this is SOS, right?
And here's the other funny thing is it's like, how do you go with your practice partner and be like, okay, do SOS builds?
Yeah.
This guy comes out with a different build in every single game.
God,
He's truly the quintessentially abusive Protoss. A lot of people would think an abusive Protoss is somebody who just gets a good unit comp. No, it's somebody who exploits the craziest builds in the game. Now, SOS doing a very good job scouting, actually manages to go all the way looping through the Zerg base and then get the Adept shade out so that he can try to poke in later.
Kind of a funny place for that Mothership core. Still shading around a bit as well, really scouting out front, making sure that there's nothing too crazy coming. Oracle on the way. Of course, the Stalker was to push back Overlords early on, which you sometimes do get with an opening like this, but nothing too crazy. This is a pretty middle-of-the-road, very safe opener from SOS.
SOS, it looks like he's going to be coming out here and trying to get a feel for what soo's going to be doing here. With the Oracle coming in as well, we'll see how well this combos. Third base now being acquired here by SOS. So this is a really safe middle of the road. It looks like he's just going to kind of go into getting a Phoenix now and trying to pressure with these Adepts to keep these creep tumors under control.
Very nice right there, and Shade's right up here. And in fact, I mean, there's a Spore on the way, so the Oracle can't help too much. He is going to have to shade out. 3 Queens and some Lings should be able to push this away.
Yeah, so he will eventually. There we go. Get back out here. The Lings are coming in here for a little bit of surround, but meanwhile, the Oracle does come in here. Looks like he has a high risk of possibly losing this.
Ooh.
Whoa. Barely gets out with 25 HP.
3 kills there, so that's pretty solid overall, but has lost 5 Adepts so far this game, so that's a little bit annoying, but has plenty to keep this third base up and running for the time being.
But soo's Lings now here with a strong counterattack. This is indicative of the sOo that we're used to seeing. A lot of times when people overextend into soo's base, sOo is able to push out and then dive back in and do some damage. But so far, so good here for SOS. It looks like he's managed to drive him back.
Still running around, seeing what he can get done with those Lings. It's not going to be a whole lot at the moment, and he's just massively droning at home. The Ling's just going to have to sit still and wait to see if anything comes out, but with Glaives on the way, some more gates, a Robo, looks like SOS is going to wait at least a little bit. But he's actually adding a lot of gateways, Tasteless. You had gates right now, you're not getting like +1 or anything. He's doing a massive Adept attack coming up. I bet you a Prism starts immediately.
This looks like it should be a window timing. So when you see a Protoss get the third base, the general feel for the Zerg is that he's probably going to go ahead and try to macro up and having a balanced economy. And this is different from if you get, for instance, for what SOS is getting this game. By the way, the fact that it's SOS versus sOo is going to break my brain. Just these two guys' names,
right?
It's so similar. The fact that if you do a 2-base build, you do all these Adepts to try to time in with a Warp Prism. That's a little bit easier for Zerg to math out here, but there's some more ambiguity coming in here because he hasn't shown that many more Adepts. Most of these Adepts do get away. He's going to go ahead and tuck them behind the minerals. Now, going for 3 bases like this, and then powering up with the gates, and then throwing everything on top of them with that Warp Prism, this can throw sOo off, for sure.
Yeah, it can. This is kind of crazy. In fact, he's going to take his 4th base, and with this many Adepts on the way, the Warp Prism coming across, I don't know that sOo is actually going to be able to hold on against this.
Yeah, he may be in trouble, especially with the fact these Adepts are over here. These Lings do not go in there to attack those Adepts because that's part of SOS's plan, is to try to trade those Adepts really effectively against those Lings, and then the next wave of Adepts come in and do too much damage.
Yeah.
Note, he's going past that hatchery, wants to try to come in here and take out a lot of these attacking units at the rally point here in the middle.
Now the Banelings are going to be really crucial coming up. He shades in, and the Lings actually get pretty good surface area, but a huge amount of Adepts going to the natural.
Now note, he's not trying to bludgeon the Zerg here. He's actually trying to split up these Adepts in such a fashion that there's no way that Zerg can cover all these areas at once.
Wow, a lot of Adepts up here. The Banelings, though, going to get some pretty solid connects overall. The Lings starting to surround a few of these, so he will be able to kill off a decent amount, and not that many drones have died yet, but oh my god, more and more Adepts going to the main base.
Some more Adepts come in right here. The Lings are going to have a little bit of a trickier time trying to get a good surface area around these already shading down here as the Lings try to stamp out the rest of this Adept harass.
Yeah, starting to surround some of these Adepts right now, and he is killing them off pretty well. I gotta say, this defense has been startlingly good from SOS. From sOo.
In this season of the GSL Code S, we've actually seen SOS with some of the best Adept splitting ever. He's been in games where it looks like he's going to lose, and he just forks these Adepts out in all these different directions, gets them in the right positions, and as that shade finishes, too many workers are killed. But I totally agree, Artosis. Right now, with 59 drones after that attack is said and done, a lesser player could have lost even up to 20 drones back there.
Yeah.
But the fact that sOO held that pretty handedly, and if you look at the supply, 131 to 101 right now, sOO is in great shape, and that tech there from sOS was slowed down because he was trying to come in there with a big punch with those adepts.
Well, look, I would say that right now, sOO is just going to roll SOS. Realistically, he's got Speed Banes, he's got +1 melee, and he's got Hydras. So, like, Speed Bane Hydra is very powerful indeed against Protoss, especially when they're just sitting on Adepts. Like, Adepts can't do anything against Speed Banelings, so this is looking extremely good for sOO to start.
Yeah, I got to say, sOO is handling this just the way a proper late-game Zerg is. Oh, my God, he cannot afford to lose that Warp Prism. That's going to... Okay, that is bad.
That means the attack can just start.
Yeah, the counterattack can start. It's much easier to keep track of just one Warp Prism, and there's already an Overlord in that location. Not to mention all these Adepts are being taken out over here. sOS right now massively overextending in this series.
He's in a lot of trouble.
Whoa!
Oh, that Prism almost goes down right now to a Spore.
When it's that low, I don't even know if you can go back in there. The risk might be too high. You might want to try to keep that back. 4 bases to 3 for the time being at 170 supply nearly to 123.
It's a big difference, man. Look at this. The entire army of SOS right now is Zealots. And Zealots, last time I checked against Speed Banes, not really going to do as well as you would hope from SOS. His Temple Archives just finished, so maybe he can get something done with that. Maybe some Archons can tank some of that, but Hydras can mow those down. So I'm liking sOO's position. Like, even if he doesn't go kill SOS right now, his comp is really strong and he cannot be attacked.
Psystorm tech is about 1/3 of the way finished, so we're going to have to see if sOO does try to come in here with some kind of timing, because I believe he will max out right before Psystorm finishes, and he does have an opportunity to try to do a big attack. Because when Psystorm finishes, it completely changes the way we have to look at this game. From the Protoss' defensive position, it's just, oh, God, he got the second Warp Prism. sOO is kicking ass this game.
God.
Jesus.
But you're very right. When Psystorm comes out, like, I'm surprised that sOO has not even pushed one time. Like, he's been playing against someone that's been sending in Adepts nonstop. You can kind of even just count the Adepts and be like, okay, you don't have a lot at home. But Psystorm, you hit 2-3 good Psystorms on the Banelings and Hydras, and suddenly SOS is favored again.
It does look like the Protoss was pressured to making Archons. Some of those might have actually been better to be Templars back there, but it looks like he was expecting an attack to come in just based off how his opponent was playing. Now we have more and more Banelings being made here. Meanwhile, these attacks here from SOS are just getting shut down.
And SOS is setting up very, very well. Some stasis wards there. If you try to roll in with those Banelings, it's not going to work out well. Great pylon placement as well.
This could end the game here with sOO winning, but I think it's also possible with SOS's control and his setup here. He might be able to hold this, which might allow this game to go on even further. But right now, sOO in a massive lead. He's coming in. He's triggered the traps here.
He's not the only one triggered. SOS going to be in a lot of trouble coming up. Psystorm's going down, but the splitting here of sOO is phenomenal. He will absolutely roll through these Archons.
Crumbing through here right now. The probe's under fire. This Nexus and this army is cornered, and there is absolutely nothing he can do. GG! sOO wins game number 1.
Wow, and a very strong victory at that. He stops every single advance from SOS, losing barely any drones. Great defense against this heavy Adept play. And this game was actually exactly what I thought we'd see tonight, Tastes, I have to say. A lot of Adepts, very aggressive pushes here from SOS. And then sOO, when he does end up holding it, that Speed Baneling Hydra is so good at punishing someone who hasn't teched very far up.
The fact that when he was coming in there with that big attack, the fact that he pulled back big amounts of the Banelings because he knew that SOS was going to set up those traps, allowed him to close in there and win that fight. I mean, some of that from SOS, he was hoping in that defensive position he could win with technique, but sOO pulled it off with pure execution.
Yeah, sOO was rock solid in this game, and if he continues to play like that, SOS might be in some trouble. But the next map going to be Whirlwind, a huge map, just as different from Echo as I am from you, Tasteless.
All right, game number 2 on Whirlwind. This is a best of 7 with sOO up in a 1-0 lead. What will SOS do? He went for a very middle-of-the-road build to start with, and then surprise timing off of his third base, but sOO Your classic Zerg player shuts down all of the attacks, gets further ahead, and closes it out. Guys, get ready. We are now ready for game number 2 in day number 1 of the round of 4 in the GSL Code S. In the bottom right, in the blue,
sOO.
Ooh, Cannon Rush, I think, Tasteless.
in the bottom left,
Jin Air Green Wings, SOS.
It was looking like it for a moment. Second probe started to leave. The first one left so fast, but it is a 4-player.
Well, I think it's wise he doesn't go for a cannon rush here, just because there is a high amount of risk involved. You know, someone like sOO can stop it, and if he does stop it, the fact of the matter, you all right, buddy?
Yeah, okay.
You're just, you know, the thing is, these games are so sick. I think that if he did go for a cannon rush and sOO stops it, SOS, as good as he is, that's a really hard series to recover from.
Okay, I understand what you're saying, but I also feel like it's not a best of 7 against SOS if there's not a cannon rush in it.
Yeah.
I guess if he's against a Terran, I'll let it go, but other than that, come on. Like, this guy is the king of cannon rushes as well. No second place player. He's a winner. Well, except for the last GSL where he got second place. But other than that, you're totally right guy in the crowd.
Let's see. It looks like he ends up scouting sOO here in the bottom right position. So, well, he doesn't scout him yet, but he knows where he is just through the process of elimination. So he doesn't have a glimpse into what exactly the build order is going to be, but right now, SOS going for a very well-rounded build, so he's kind of okay versus pretty much anything. I would not expect sOO to do anything risky this game, just judging from how game number 1 went.
Okay, yeah, that makes
sense. I think
sense.
you play a game like that, you say, all right, let's just, let's do it again. Let me just do a proper Zerg game, and you do your Harlem Globetrotter stuff, and then I am going to knock the ball out of your hands and shoot it across the basketball arena and swoosh it.
It's a really good way to play against SOS. If you can play an exactly solid game, the thing is it's very hard because SOS assumes a lot of players are going to do that. You know, you watch him in some of these big matches against the most solid players that there are, and he's like, I know you're going to defend like this, and that's why I do this move no one's ever seen, and he kills you. But I mean, the way sOO played that last game, it was like that was a magnificent hold on every front.
It really was. By the way, when you play Protoss and you have all these cool builds and tricks and strats that shut people down, especially in mid-game and early mid-game, it sucks when you suddenly play against somebody like sOO who's just like, cut that shit out.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're like, watch this, man, and then you get there and all your stuff dies. You're like, maybe I shouldn't be doing this. Maybe I should.
Makes you rethink like how good you really are.
Yeah.
And it's like, well,
then you're like, what did I do wrong here? And they're like, play a normal game.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, okay.
It's so funny because it's
What, is that what you do to beat your 12-year-old cousin in this game? Don't do it against me, man.
Oh, man. And it's so accurate, too. But, like, the thing is, he's like a 2-time world champion, right?
Yeah.
Like,
But that's what that last game looked like.
Yeah,
it did. You're like, oh, I'm going to do this with my adepts, and I'm going to move him over here, and he's not going to be ready, and then everything dies, and you're like, oh, no, and you go back, you're like, I don't have any tech.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Oh, banelings are going to really hurt if I only have Zealots.
Hallucinated Phoenix flies over, and you're like, that's a lot more banelings than I would think I can deal with.
Yeah.
I'm going to make stuff and then probably lose and feel bad after this. No. Whoa, just born.
Damn, he's using a lot of energy on this one. We'll end up getting that one.
Oh,
he just lets it die. Okay. Well, I mean, this Oracle does a little bit, I guess, at least. But he really used a lot of energy on that egg as well. Glaives on the way very quickly thereafter. Kind of similar to what we saw before. Not quite as quick a third, but we'll see exactly how quickly he goes for that.
Yeah, you beat me to it. I was about to say, we want to look and see when he gets the third here, if he gets the third. He is coming in here.
There's that third.
Okay, and he just shades back out. A nice poke in, trying to see if he can't take out any workers. Now, you can see the Lings were not over there. sOO was actually ready for any other position that these Adepts might come in, because sOO so far has been playing a shutdown game, where he just says, come at me, and, deflects and blocks every attack, and essentially what the Protoss ends up doing is, even though the idea was to take out workers and get ahead, they end up behind because they're just not trading effectively.
Yeah.
Although it seems like, at least for now, we have a pretty cautious game here from SOS.
Yeah, he's not like adding, you know, a bunch of gateways and a robo for that same build. It looks very similar so far, but we'll see. I think he's going to transition a bit here. Whereas soO, he's just getting his macro on, man. He's going into that 4th hatch. And once again, the Hydra's Den and Baneling Nest, which, again, I'm really not surprised with. I've actually been, like, really diving deep into PvZ lately on pro level, and, like, it seems to me that the biggest win percentage of Zerg strats is this kind of Baneling Hydra type play at the pros.
Yeah, I
at
agree.
The pro level. And,
He actually got the Adepts there in the ramp. Okay, really nicely done. I think SOS so far onto a better start. 5 drone kills so far. Adepts now shading out. He's coming over here. These drones did not get pulled entirely out of here. He's going to have to try to continuously split this. It looks like he actually cancels that back over there, only having 2 Adepts come in, and then maintaining his position here in the main. He can actually massacre these drones over here because they were not evacuated.
Yeah, this is going very well so far for him. 11 drones have fallen, a bunch of Adepts still at this 3rd base, and SOS just not defending as well as he was last time. Oh my god, 19 dead?
Remember when in the last game when I was saying a lesser Zerg player might lose up to 20 drones here? Well, it looks like this is going to be that game.
Wow. He's a greater Zerg and a lesser Zerg. How does this even work?
Well, you know, one thing that it looks like soO did. Well, hold up. I'll get to it when this attack. Okay, it looks like this attack's going to slow down for a second here. So it looks like instead of changing the strat, SOS changed the way he was forking out with the Adepts. His read, instead of what he learned from his read in the last game, even though he lost, was not to change the strat, but to change tactically how he engaged the Zerg and cut him up really effectively. And this is the kind of adaptive player that SOS is. It's not stopping
so
Artosis.
That's so big that coming in here. Huge amounts of damage being dealt. soO might all in from here because of the amount of damage that he's taken. Look at this. The Chrono Boost. Oh, he even has the double Templar Archives. Definitely a bit of a mistake there. But look, Baneling speed on the way, getting the Hydralis upgrades, trying to re-drone, but he's taken so much damage. This game is very different from the previous one. And he just kind of like sped up when he attacked, right? Like last game, he got a bunch of gates, he got the Prism, and he tried to do like massive attack, whereas this was like, okay, it's a good amount of Adepts, but it's not like 7 gates reinforcing Adepts.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
Okay, now we know we're watching SOS.
Yeah.
You covered these IDs up. I wasn't totally sure he was playing. Then I see that next up there. I'm like, SOS.
Yeah.
So he makes a 4th up here. I guess expecting possibly Zerg to try to do some kind of all-in, which he should be able to hold, but that's probably soO's best bet. And as he holds it, even if soO takes, or rather SOS takes a lot of damage, unbeknownst to soO, there is a base in the upper left. And on a map this big, that expansion in the upper left may not be scouted for a long time.
Especially when it's such a down and dirty game. He's already lost so many drones. It's not like he has lings to play with right now. He's got to be so on top of what's going on. And I think that this shows the brilliance of SOS. Even if that gets scouted, I think that this is a great move.
Now, in fairness, it's not exactly the most optimal way to play in some regards, since there's a very high chance that soO does try to come across. Even that money spent on that Nexus and the gases and pylon over there as well does make SOS a little bit more susceptible to damage, but I guess perhaps relying on Warp Prism Harass here to just keep the Zerg respecting the Protoss's lead is the way he's going to approach this.
A lot of Banes being made. That 4th base is taken. Prism kind of flying around the map right now. Will soO go for a massive attack coming up here is what I'm like really kind of trying to figure out. He's continuing to drone. I'm just afraid of him trying to enter late game after losing that many drones, because then Protoss comfortably gets in late game. And if Protoss comfortably gets in late game, it's like, it seems like end game PvZ, when a really top-end Protoss is playing, is a little bit Protoss favored, to be honest. Like, you get the Storms, you get the Tempests out to kill Broodlords, and it's like, gets very difficult for Zerg, so...
Okay, so he tries to poke in here. Now, this is obviously not going to do a lot of damage to the Zerg, but it's keeping Zerg back. Zerg's uncomfortable, doesn't want to take too much damage. Now, this is a kind of a cool approach here. That did not go well, but in some ways not that consequential to this game.
Yeah.
So, one thing to note about this
Ooh.
Oh, now that's a bigger deal.
Yeah, it is.
Because he no longer has the pinning position to try to keep
That's
Zerg
important.
at bay.
Like, especially when it's over there, it takes forever to get another prism up there because he has to make it out of the robo that's in his natural.
Yeah.
And fly it up around the watchtower and all the way to the right, then all the way down. Like, to get another drop out there, which you need when they're attacking you, it's a big deal.
Now, I don't know if sOO can attack in here. What's funny about this is a lot of games go where the Protoss cripples the Zerg, and then they try to set up for a killing blow, but sOO kind of doing the opposite. Oh, my God. All right, this has been spotted. Some of this strat was hinged on Zerg just not finding that. But what sOs did this game is he crippled the Zerg, and then he ran away and almost did like a funny win more move.
Yeah.
But that's why SOS is so hard to
exactly.
predict, is he's not ever following a textbook.
Oh,
my God.
Oh, man. Oh.
Wow.
Oh, my God.
And now this, well, hold on. Base in the upper left has been picked up, but I think that might have been too many storms there that connected.
That was like the greatest storms of all time.
I can't believe this. The Banelings are coming in, but the Archon shots already doing so much damage along with the storms to those Banelings. However, it looks like SOS erring on the side of caution. This is kind of a weird game. This is not the way it goes when you're practicing StarCraft 2.
No.
A lot of this game from here on out might be a little bit more dependent on instinct. I don't know what the story is with that Immortal there on the map, but that's taken out as well.
I mean, sOO right now is still kind of just sitting on Bane Hydra, and he just lost so much to those storms, and the fact that SOS is completing his tech tree. He's got the fleet beacon. He's making a mothership and all that. And he lost the top left, but that was only there for gas, and he's taken a 4th base anyway. So it's 4 base against 4, basically.
So,
and, like, I still am loving where SOS is at.
So he's going to try to go for some Baneling drops over here. This is an uncomfortable spot for Zerg to be in. Hold up. Is this... Okay, he does chase this out, but not before tagging this army. So sOO is an uncomfortable spot because his bottom base is right next door to the Protoss's 4th base. So it's, like, really uncomfortable. And there's not, like, a lot he can do to try to push out just in between those two positions, so he kind of has to keep the Protoss at bay. But 1 or 2 mistakes from Zerg, and he gets run over.
Yeah.
And SOS is teching air.
Yeah, he's going into carriers, which are pretty good, I heard, against Zerg. But, you know, Bane Hydra, this is something that could potentially do work here. The thing is, Storm is the natural enemy of this army. He's got enough Archons that you can't just run Banes in to kill the High Templars. The Archons will just clear them. So this is tough for sOO to get any damage done, which is allowing SOS to tack right into his carriers and get exactly the army he wants.
So far, this is going really well right now here for SOS. Not perfectly, but he's in a good position. Now, with sOO taking this base in the center right, is that going to be taken out? Okay, I'm sorry. sOO's actually going to sack this.
Yeah,
or at least end up losing it. We got a huge attack coming in here now.
Those Storms doing massive damage. The Baneling's hitting a lot of Archons, but he cleans it. He cleans up that army. The recall back to the Nexus, but there are some Overseers here. He's able to see. He walks forward with these Hydras. Is sOO still going to be able to take this game?
Well, I got to say, the fact that Protoss is in the middle of an air tech here means that he doesn't quite have the substantial ground army to combat this, and he's actually gunning down the carrier interceptors as they pop out. So those have to eventually be remade. However, the fact that Zerg lost the center right base, the one thing about a map like this is Zerg can usually comfortably expand towards the north on the right side of the map.
Yeah. It's really hard to stop that for Protoss.
Yeah, it's pretty tricky. I mean, you can get a Warp Prism over there, but that is something that Zerg can stop. But it seems like sOO maybe spread just a little bit too thin here, especially when you consider SOS has a supply lead.
Yeah, he might be. That was a great attack by sOO. He did a lot of damage and kind of used what SOS is doing against him. The fact that SOS is trying to get a guaranteed victory by going up to a lot of carriers against just Hydra Tech. But sOO didn't quite break him. The carrier count is growing. He has High Templars in this army once again. Or I guess he doesn't right now, but he's warping some in at least.
Zerg is actually in some ways stuck on this tech for the time being because the economic engine is not that good right now for Zerg. But he's going to try to come in here anyways. Nice storms coming down here. Carriers are out, but are there too many Hydras here? These interceptors are disappearing. You have to have a critical amount of carriers before those interceptors really start to pay for themselves. Now the mothership right now taking a good amount of damage.
Still, though, not enough Hydras. The interceptors come out once again. Those Psy Storms were just so crucial the entire time.
GG. sOO taps out, and sOs wins game number 2, tying things up.
Wow, really good game, though, I have to say. Like, yeah, sOs pulled out a ton of tricks. Similar type of build, but quicker adept attack there. Got a lot of drones, snuck an extra base, eventually went up to carriers, but sOo still made a game of it. And after you lose 20 drones, a lot of the times that's not the case against a top world-class Protoss.
Yeah, really impressive stuff. And by the way, kudos to sOs for doing a very unorthodox, perhaps not even necessarily the most efficient, but in some ways the least predictable approach after gimping the Zerg.
Yeah.
The fact that he took the 4th in the upper left.
Yeah, a lot of times you do that when you're
for
behind.
gas. Yeah.
Instead, he does it when he's ahead.
Yeah. It's well, it's just so funny because luckily for sOO in that game, he at least scouted it. Now, it wasn't enough to win the game, but I mean, that's just not something that you normally factor in a game like that. So, again, even though sOO looks solid, sOs is too unpredictable and weird sometimes to beat.
That's very true. And it's tied up 1-1. I wouldn't have it any other way, Tasteless.
We are going to go to a short break. When we come back, game number 3 in tonight's semifinals at the GSL Code S.
지금까지 방구하러 가서 이런 나쁜 말 들어본 적 있어?
모두가 쉬쉬해온 방에 대한 나쁜 정보.
다방면으로 보자. 다방.
그 제 아이디를 추가를 하면은 제가 나와요. 사연 주세요. 시가 넌 이미 늦어버렸어. 늦어버린 것 같다. 사람이 굉장히 좋아 보이나 봐요. 미안하지. 야, 니 용기를 좀 가지고 먼저 고백을 해봐라. 온 과에 붙인다. 뭉청아. 오빠야. 그기 애면 너는 그의 촉촉한 목소리에.
빛의 힘을 보여드리죠.
반갑네.
얘들아, 힘을 빌려줘. 누구도 나를 막을 순 없어. 방해하겠다면 전부 부숴주지. 판타지 마스터즈 2.
양이놈 장난이 없다 근데 진짜.
땅땅치기 신제품 매콤 찹스를 지금 탱탱이 한번 먹어보도록 하겠습니다.
먹어볼게요.
쫄깃하면서 겉은 바삭하면서 매콤하면서 약간 맛있는 매운맛?
맵다가 아니고 매콤이에요 진짜로.
열심히 입 털고 맛있는 때 순간 나는 화북이다. 매콤 찹스 네, 사랑해주세요.
마음이 가는 대로 즐겁고 신나게 쓰자. 캠퍼스 시리즈.
진짜 오늘 어떻게 되든 나 헌팅한다. 아무나 친구를 누르는 거야. 뭐 유혹을 해봅시다. 24시간 뒤에는 이 사람이 못 봐요. 셋, 히. 바랑 합방할래? 이야. 새로운 인연을 만드는 거에 중점을 둬야 됩니다. 남자는 안 돼. 빵야. 누구나 보면 반할 수밖에 없을 겁니다. 저도 또 같이 소개팅 같이 나갔으면 좋겠습니다.
지금까지 방구하러 가서 나쁘다는 말 들어본 적 있어?
모두가 쉬쉬해온 방에 대한 나쁜 정보.
다방면으로 보자. 다방.
Welcome back to the GSL Contest. Right now, it's tied up 1-1. And I don't know who's going to win this, man. I think in game number 1, sOO exhibiting what we kind of expected, or I guess one of his strongest points, was that he is just solid.
Yes,
He deflected everything. And then sOs showing us that it's really hard to follow from game 1 to game 2 to game 3 what he's going to do. So if you're just not joining us, what was really cool about game 2, sOs comes in there, does a bunch of damage, takes out a ton of drones, and normally what happens is Protoss pulls back, gears up, and then punishes the Zerg's fourth.
Yeah.
But instead, sOs almost plays like he's playing behind. He hides a Nexus, primarily to mine the gas from, so that he could then take his fifth, which looks like his fourth. He'd had also a very good Warp Prism harass, but I mean, sOO was just in an odd spot that entire game. And that wasn't a win where you win from late game tactics and getting an economic edge. It's actually playing into what the other players expect you to play like, and then playing around that. So that was really cool. So just to pull it all together here, sOs is somebody who knows how to outthink anybody.
Yeah, and I want to talk more about that, but it looks like we're going to talk about Super Tournament for just a moment here, guys. Starts on the 6th of April, goes right through the 9th. Looks like we're starting at 5 p.m. each of those days, and that is going to be just awesome. Starting at that round of 16. So that's like kind of a weekend tournament that we're going to do in 4 days. So that's going to be... I can't wait. That's going to be awesome. But back to what you were talking about, Tasteless. What I've seen so far in these series, and what I would expect to see from these two players overall, is that sOO is playing the role of the stronger mechanical player, and sOs is playing the role of the strategic player, right? And which one of these is going to win out? I mean, it's almost like upon the viewer to assign odds here, because it's like whichever style that you think is stronger personally is probably who you're going to side with as the person who should win this match. But to me, so far, it is looking very, very even.
It's like sOO exhibits everything that we understand about StarCraft and what makes you a good player. Yeah. And then sOs is everything that we don't quite get yet about StarCraft.
Yes, I love it.
That can make you a good player. Every game that you've ever lost in the ladder where you have to look at the replay and go, oh, well, okay, well, I mean, I didn't know. Or most people do this, but this guy did this, but maybe that's not that good. Well, apparently at the highest level in the whole world, there's somebody who's kind of beating people like that.
Yeah.
Like, you got to wonder, when sOO got those lings into that base in the upper left, he probably thought, what?
Yeah,
you know?
Totally.
What is he? Oh, my God. How long has he had this? So weird.
It's like matter versus dark matter right now.
Yeah.
What a great series this is. Tasteless Proxima Station. Gonna be our third map.
All right, guys, let's go into Game 3. sOO versus sOs, this best of 7. So far, tied up 1-1. In the bottom left, in the blue,
sOO.
Yeah, man. Looking great tonight.
In the upper right, in the red, our Protoss player.
Jin Air Green Wings, sOs.
The mastermind himself. Will he be able to actually take out sOO, though? Nice little pylon block to start out. Kind of annoying.
I'm sorry, is that a pylon in the net? Well, there's a pylon in... Okay, he put
yeah,
two
he's like blocking
All right,
both.
guys, welcome to... If you're new to StarCraft 2, this is sOs, and expect no less.
He's the best.
Yeah, so he's going for 2 pylons here at both of the expansions, going for Gas Gate off of the main. Traditionally on this map, this is a map that rewards a macro player because you basically get a free expansion in the back. And or you could take, you see the shot we have here, you could take a hatch here and then take a free third base later. So, but sOs has turned the crazy up to 11 and ripped off the knob. So he's blocked both ideal hatch locations, which has forced sOO into this base. More Canadians, guys. We love you. Thanks for coming down here. Some shout-outs to TLL from New York City. And I didn't get to read the rest. Sorry, guys.
New York City.
New York. So this game's already gotten really, really weird.
It really is.
All right, so,
because the double pylon slows your Nexus so much as well.
Yeah.
But what he has done here is forced sOO to take a base really far away.
Yes.
Does this mean he wants to once again go for something like a split-up Adept attack? It's a possibility.
It's certainly something we have to factor in here for the possibilities of how Zerg will try to, rather Protoss will try to approach this. So, I'm kind of racking my brain here. The fact of the matter is that no matter how much sOO practiced, I don't think he's going to be ready for sOs in a game like this.
Yeah, this is a tough one.
This is sOs dictating the tempo of the game and forcing sOO to play by his rules. And I think, when you look at the way that Game 1 went, when sOO was, or rather sOs, I'm going to be horrible about this all night, guys, because these guys, their names look so similar. Sorry.
Yeah.
When you look at players like these two in Game 1, it seemed like if sOO got far along enough in the econ game of Zerg, he just shuts down everything sOs does. Mm-hmm. So sOs plays a really good tactical early game, Game 2, and then plays really weird from there.
Yeah.
And then in Game 3, sOs plays really weird from the start and just interrupts the positioning. And he may go for an Adept game. This entire series may be centered around sOO's Adept defense and SOS's Adept tactics.
I think you're probably right about that, and it really does look like this was the plan from the get-go. Get one base that's really far away from the other ones, and then utilize Adepts with Glaives to try to make sOO mess up. If he doesn't have perfect splits all over the place, it takes a long time to get down to that base that he originally took. So 3-gate Glaives, I love it as an opening here for sOs. I think he's got a great plan for the game.
By the way, I think it was a wise decision for the third base, or the third hatchery, I should say, just because this game's looking funny already, to be at the Zerg's natural and not in the back left corner. He needs to get this connected by creep right away. Overlord's going to peek in here, and I think it's pretty apparent what's happening. I mean, there's even with a player like sOs, there's not too many other things this could be, just judging from the number of Adepts. And it doesn't even seem, by the way, like sOs is trying to hide him.
He's got all the information in the world right now, sOO does.
So this may be a moment, though, where sOs, oh my god, well, he's going to go for DTs. So that's the other weird part about this.
Yeah, this is not a timing that you will ever see. Like, no Protoss does this. But it makes sense as well, because now that he has scouted what's going on, that this is going to be a fast Prism with fast Glaives, all sOO's thinking about right now is get enough roaches spread around that I don't take damage, which means slower detection.
Yes.
You don't expect DTs to come in after this. No one ever does that.
And he got the Glaives with it just to make it abundantly clear that that's what he's making it look like. Now, this Overlord never actually saw this Dark Shrine.
Yeah.
So it looks like he eases up, and this may be why he was okay showing these Adepts. Initially, I was going to say this might be a moment where SOS doesn't really care, which you normally never say in a StarCraft game because you can always hide something. And StarCraft is so much a game not just about strategy and tactics, but really about lying and trying to hide information, which is why it's such a hard game to master. But instead, he's got this Adept pressure that right now, soO is probably feeling like he's sort of getting into the position he was in Game 1. But the question is the DT threat that is the follow-up. Because it was actually a pretty soft Adept pressure.
Yeah, okay, a lot of Lings are kind of starting patrol, but here's the thing. You have 3-4 DTs. They kill a Spore so quickly that that single Spore might not be enough to prevent this from doing massive damage.
And if the DTs start to destroy everything, the Adepts will come back in, and this will pair well. Is there a Spore here?
There is a Spore at the main base. I don't know about the natural. I think there is one, but not 100% sure.
No, that's a Spine.
Oh, God, I
that's
thought that was a Spore.
Yeah,
oh, my God, that's huge.
So he's going to start hitting all these drones. Meanwhile, Overseer being made. Looks like he's going to go for the spawning pool.
Okay.
Now, keep in mind, the Adepts may shade in and try to do some damage of their own. Not really that much anti-air, so he does not manage to get the spawning pool. He is then driven out.
Still, this is 6 drones down. He's got the DTs all left alive. He's getting some of these creep tumors coming up as well, which is really, really nice. And I think he's still completely fine, Tasteless.
Yeah, I mean, soO's really deflected everything. Now, whenever you play like we see here from SOS, some of this is hinged on doing a decent amount of damage. I'm not saying he didn't do any damage, but the question is, did he do enough? The Archon harass is going to be the follow-up, but you know, right now soO does seem to be stabilizing.
Yeah, and that's a really good thing because don't forget, considering he's stabilizing on these bases, his 4th base, which he's just starting up now, it's 100% safe. Like, nothing's going to happen there. It's a free base.
So he's going to drop these Archons. Now, this is something you can do that's so abusive as Protoss, as the Archon splash is so good. And if you're good with Warp Prism juggling of the Archons, it's insane how much damage you can do.
Yeah.
Now, even if you're just getting rid of Lings, that's okay. The Archons get their shields back pretty quickly, and the Zerg is just hemorrhaging Lings at this point in time.
Now look at this. Charge is about to finish. He's got his Archons out. He's got some Immortals. I think he's made a few sentries here and there. This is a really solid army. I was just going to say, we don't have that follow-up Spire from soO yet. He just adds it right now. This is a very popular way to play against this style inquiry. You get just a few mutas out because this is a ground pounder force that SOS has. He doesn't have anti-muta, but this here can kill just about anything on the ground.
And what's great about this is he's going to start off with some harass. He's going to begin the push over here, probably try to take out a few drones here and there. And from there, it's pretty easy for Protoss to try to push in. Now, macro-wise, I got to say, soO looks really good. It's actually 118 to 155. The push is starting, Artosis. He's coming down here right now.
A decent amount of Roaches and Lings here will push him back for the timing. That's okay, though. He warps in quite a few Zealots here. And, in fact, that base I said was free and safe might not be. He's really going after it.
He's got such a weird playstyle. So then he then warps in over here. He's pushing from 2 different locations. He's trying to carve up the Zerg. And this moment we've been talking about the odd positioning for Zerg and what was 3 bases for a long time is finally panning out.
Man, so many odd decisions having to be put out here by SOS as he tries to win this game. The Archons continue to do some harassment. That back base not getting any mining done so far, but most of his army going down here at the front.
However, it seems like soO is probably going to hold this. He needs to pick up that Archon!
Just barely gets out of there. 15 drones have fallen. It's still a very healthy drone count. 63, that's still a very good, solid economy. So soO able to continue to macro up, and the Spire is done. This is somewhere, if he gets a moment to actually make some mutas, if he has that money banked up, he can do some decent counterattack damage.
Again, really good harass here. He's just targeting down drones here and there. Now, he knows these mutas have to be coming, so I'm wondering if he's overextended.
Has he seen the Spire? Are we sure? Spire's in the natural, right?
I don't know where the Spire is.
The Spire is, yeah.
You would assume he would know.
Doing anything against
is the Spire at the?
I don't think he, because he
he
just started his forge, right? So he doesn't have any cannons to speak of. He has no stalkers right now. He has Archons. That's about it. Like, in fact, this could get pretty gross pretty quick with the mutas out.
So the mutas are out here. They nullify the mobility of the Warp Prism. Now, that is going to be the end of this attack. from sOs, but keep in mind that the Muta counterattack, if he's not ready, can be problematic as well. But when you see the game unfold, he's getting Blink. We have 4 Archons in the mix, so the Mutas, as far as a straight-up fight, they don't really help, you know?
No,
he has sort of 700 gas worth of Mutas out, and then he's already got Archons, he's got Stalkers with Blake. Mutas, I mean, they're good for harass, but they kind of suck in a big straight-up fight. It's not like it's like a TVZ where the Mutas fly in there with the Banes and the Lings and trade off, and the Mutas then pull back out and go kill a medevac somewhere.
Totally. These Mutas are specifically against these Archon-type strategies because you want to stay on things like charge. He's forcing Blink, he's forcing some cannons, he's forcing more careful play about attacks, right? So he's kind of getting sOs into a composition that he knows how to deal with. That Baneling Nest is finishing up Baneling speed immediately, and this is a pretty good comp. Don't think he can attack quite yet, though.
Yeah, he's going to have to back out. With this many Ravagers, he can pretty much always pick the fight of the Zerg can. But if Zerg overextends, that's where the real problem can come into play here. He's got to continue to dodge these Corrosive Biles, some of those connecting on the sentries. If Muta's actually taken out at least 3 of those sentries total. However, just Ravagers, that could become problematic with this number of Immortals, but more Lings do come in. The Stalkers and Zealot have to meet up with the rest of this army.
All right, he got rid of all the sentries there, and that is pretty good. He also got rid of some of the Archons. With Baneling speed on the way, sentries and Archons really are the counter to Banelings in this matchup, so he might be able to get some of these huge connections coming forward.
Once again, a War Prism comes back in. Sneaky, cheeky DT. Coming in over here.
Oh, man.
He can actually start to... Oh, my God. He's going to go all the way to the back. Now that's,
oh my God,
this is when
no
you're
detection.
really dirty with DTs. Because he sees that there's nothing here, so he
man.
warps his second one in. He's trying to split this. Now, I think he actually hit the Roach, so the Zerg should know. I'm sorry, where'd that other DT go? Did he get the kill on that?
I'm not sure if he ended up killing. He probably did. There was a Spore somewhat nearby, but the DT at least stopping some mining over here, taking some of the attention away from everything else going on.
He's going to try to save it, and I think he will. Yeah, he picks that up. So I'm not sure if how long it's going to take for that War Prism to be taken out, but right now sOs is getting that 4th base up, and he's mining the gas as usual first from that to really try to get his tech in a very good position here. The Zerg army, pretty scary. A lot of Ravagers coming in here. If he spreads his Corrosive Bile, you really can't dodge it.
Yeah, in fact, he walked into a little corner right there, taking a few extra hits because of it. This is deadly. He's losing a lot of health on this Archon. Needs to keep those alive for anti-Baneling tech. Psystorm's still on the way, and he still has a decent army, but that is a lot of Ravagers.
Yeah, it's a lot, and in fact, he's going to be able to split up these bases right now. The 3rd and the 4th, no traffic for Protoss going in there. Preemptive Corrosive Biles to push the Protoss back into a corner. Roach is now spreading out and hitting hard. Oh my God, this arc is so sick.
Oh, and those Biles as well, landing on the High Templars. They do live through it, though, and some Psystorms start to come out. Beautiful Psystorms, but will that actually be enough? The Immortals trying to hold strong, but here come the Mutas as well.
Okay, as you can see here, the Ravagers beginning to back up. Perhaps an overextension here by soO. 99 supply for Protoss, 173 here for Zerg. Despite hemorrhaging some of those Ravagers, it looks like the next Remax here from Zerg could end up smashing the Protoss' 4th, or the 3rd.
Yeah, anything could happen coming forward, but if he attacks into that 3rd base and sOs can continue to hold, he might be able to recover this game. Having a 4th up is a big deal, and this is mostly Roaches that are coming out. Sure, some Banelings are mixed in, but the longer the game goes on, the worse and worse those Roaches are going to become.
That's right. Right now, Zerg at this very mid-tier tech. It's pretty tough to deal with because of the sheer amount of muscle it has. I think this is a very important moment in the game here for soO. He's got a lot of money and gas in the bank. He's going to try to engage in here. He's got to limit the robo units and take out the gas-intensive units like the Archons. The Zealots here in the front are there to sponge up the damage.
Okay, the Banelings trying to come in right now. Great Psystorms do go down, but a lot of the Banelings kept alive behind those Ravagers.
Oh, this is getting weird, man. He's actually cut the Protoss off now. Protoss is going to be forced to try to defend the 4th base over here.
He should be able to bust through the rest of this Protoss army, I would say. Only a handful of units left. He's retreating towards his 4th base. That soO is going to continue to follow him down here. The Immortals being worth their weight in gold, but that is not going to be enough.
GG! Nicely done. soO takes game number 3. Putting us at 2-1 in this best of 7.
Wow, ridiculously solid play coming out of soO so far in this series, holding on against every little shenanigan that sOs can pull out of his sleeves. Double pylon block into the glaives, into a weird late DT drop. yet sOO blocks everything.
God, really nicely done. Again, sOs with a very cool approach there. Forces the Zerg to have a positional setup. We were talking about he might go for a standard adept harass. He doesn't.
Yeah.
He goes into a DT rush, which could have cost sOO the game if he wasn't ready.
Yeah.
Then he switches into Archon harass. Then he switches into a double-pronged attack, which, by the way, from sOs was not controlled perfectly at the north.
No.
He's hitting all these different locations, but sOO just hunkers down.
Yeah.
He's deflecting from the north, from the south, from the east. It does not matter where he's being hit.
Yeah,
and eventually, you know, when the dust settles, sOs realizes, oh my God, I'm behind. And whenever you get behind against sOO, he's just one of those Zergs who knows how to close it out.
You're definitely right about that. If he can hold on in that early game, he gets favored as it goes forward. But we haven't seen sOs go for Supreme late game. We'll see if he does here on Abyssal Reef.
All right, guys, let's get ready for game number 4. sOO in the lead with 2-1. But sOs, of course, a player who can always come back. In the bottom right, in the blue,
sOO.
He is our 4-time GSL Codest finalist. He has not won a GSL Codest yet. He could be in the finals for a 5th time. In the upper left, in the red, our Protoss player, he is
Jin Air Green Wings, sOs.
And of course, the 2-time world champion,
who has not won a GSL Codest,
That's
although
right.
he was in our last finals and did lose in a really terrific series to Beyond.
Yeah, that was definitely Beyond showing his utmost right before his BlizzCon victory as well. In fact, denying sOs his berth into BlizzCon with that victory. So definitely something that, you know, you win at GSL this year, you go straight to BlizzCon. I'm sure this is on both of their minds as well. And this map I want to talk about just for a moment, Tasteless. This is the strangest map in our GSL pool, Abyssal Reef. It's an sOs map, if you ask me.
I agree.
When you get a map this different as far as architecture goes, like, I know things like lurker pushes and stuff are very strong here, but I feel like sOs will have something really, truly cool planned on this map.
Well, for the Zerg, the third base, no matter where you take it, and there's basically 3 places you can take it. Some are better than others depending on the matchup and the suspected play style of your opponent. But the third base is always kind of uncomfortable.
Yeah.
You know, it's always a little bit weird. And, you know, for somebody like sOs, I feel like you're completely right that this is something he can come in here and try to exploit. And as many games as we've casted from sOs, I don't think anybody can look at an sOs game and go, I knew he was going to do that.
Yeah,
like, none of the other pro gamers have really been able to do that. This guy, on record, amongst all the other pro gamers, people say they really don't want to face him because it's just he does weird stuff.
Yeah, you can't actually predict what he's going to do. You can have some ideas and stuff, and maybe you're right, maybe you're not. But, I mean, if anyone looks at his games in hindsight and says they know he was going to do something, you're actually tricking yourself. He's like more random than dice or something like that. It's kind of crazy.
sOs is basically L from Death Note.
I thought that was Beyond, but
no, not anymore. No, he's N. Is that the other character from Death Note?
It's been a while
the
since
blonde-haired one.
I know who you're
Blonde-haired
talking
kid.
about, but I'm like,
Right now, sOs is setting up his builds while eating a cupcake and maybe finishing a puzzle.
yeah, finishing.
This is actually
He's
what this is
definitely
called.
finishing a
This is
puzzle.
called Death Build. Okay, this is the story of Death Build, and
Yeah.
every time you see one of sOs's builds, you die later on.
He's
like,
written
oh, man.
Sue's name in his book for this one because
That's
he's
right.
opening with an immortal. Okay.
Yep.
I am not surprised. This map has really thin passageways. Force fields are really strong
I
here.
knew he was going to do that. No, I think you're right though. This is a map where you can definitely do a push
Yeah.
against.
It's small little chokes, right? So 2-3 force fields and nothing can get past. And an old school immortal push could be strong, opening up with that prism after the immortal. Let's see what he goes for. I mean, this could just be really, really fast. Immortal harassment, perhaps.
Yeah, there's, you know, whenever there's a War Prism coming out, you know they have to use it pretty quickly. Otherwise, it wouldn't have made sense. They could have made another Immortal. You know, there's definitely some order. There's some rhyme and reason to why, you know, you make what when you do. But with him, let's see. Does he actually pick up 2 Adepts? Okay, 2 Adepts and an Immortal. Answers my question before I could finish the statement. Now, he saw the Warp Prism. I don't believe he wants to go up and look at it again. I think he wants to make it look like he might have missed it, because I think SOS is under the impression that at least it wasn't spotted.
Yeah.
Because he said it's southbound. He does run into an Overlord. We don't have it on screen, but he goes by an Overlord in the middle of the map.
4 more gates on the way. Some sentries being made as well. So definitely an all-in follow-up to this little harassment.
The Immortal may be the unexpected unit within the drop. You know, a lot of times you'll see it's just Adepts here. Now, the Immortal is beefy enough that it's kind of hard to kill off. But although I don't know if it's the greatest harass unit in this case, because there's not, like, for instance, a ton of roaches here to fight. But the follow-up is pretty cool. He's got, like you were saying, a lot of gates, and this is kind of looking like a weird variation of what we saw in Game 1. Although, keep in mind, in Game 1, sOO shut it down pretty hard.
Well, this is going to be really crazy, man. He's got a ton of gates. Yeah, he's making a 3rd Nexus, but this is all about the incoming push. He continues to try to kill off anything that is possible. Some creep tumors going down, flying around with his observer, seeing exactly what's what. Hydralisk Den is on the way, but is that going to be fast enough? Because it looks like SOS is getting ready for the attack.
Okay. Right now, he's just keeping the Immortal and the Adepts here to try to drive back creep tumors and keep it slow movement. In case you guys are wondering, Immortals do counter creep tumors very well in StarCraft 2. Put that down in your notebook. You guys are taking notes, trying to learn. And he's going to begin a push here from the north. Now, the center right side of the map is actually a pretty narrow position. And with a lot of sentries, notice this is more sentry. It's a balance of sentry and Adepts. You can actually cut off between the hatchery and this little area just at the top of our screen. You can kind of cut this off, and Zerg really can't fight that well. And as you can see, that's being exhibited right here. Lings are kind of obsolete here.
These force fields are just nutso. He is killing off so much at the moment. Does he have enough to prevent the next Banelings from connecting? Banelings are really the only chance for sOO to end up holding this. Banelings coming in. Beautiful split, though, comes out here from SOS.
It's only 2 more sentries in the mix, but now's when he starts to factor more and more Adepts in. Really hoping to snowball this. The hatchery's getting weak, and these Adepts then transfer over here into the main base, blocking off the ramp for the time being, now going for these workers.
And he's going to be able to snipe the 3rd hatch. In the meantime, the rest of the army chasing back these Adepts that are just killing off so many Lings. The Slow Queen's blocking everything that's coming up the ramp.
Oh my god, and he shades back to regroup.
Oh man.
He may try to pull out here and go back to his 3rd and defend. Does sOO go for a counterattack? He's not making drones. He's making Hydras. He may try to come in here and balance this fight out.
Well, this might be his only chance to actually take this game. If he can get some counterattack damage done, maybe kill this 3rd base in a few units, he could be back in it. But right now, sOO just sitting here on 2 bases.
Yeah, he started a 3rd now, but this is going to be really late. He's going to eventually have to get a 3rd hatchery no matter what, but
I like this from sOO. He's going for a Lurker Den right away, making 2 hatches. This is really cool. That Immortal isn't very cool. He's just kind of sitting over there.
That's actually really...
He's like, I will deny any bases over here. Okay, Immortal, you do your thing. But look, this map is fantastic for Lurkers. It's the best map in the pool for Lurkers. And in fact, he can even kill the rocks and get above that 3rd base and burrow. And that is a place that is so hard to defend.
Yeah, I mean, you can do a pretty straightforward Zerg-style push with those Lurkers, and there's not a lot the Adepts can do in a narrow area. All those Adepts are just going to die.
Yes, they are.
You know, one of the best ways to beat Lurkers is to have their spines firing in every different direction so they can't optimize and combo damage. Okay, now he sees that Immortal. That's a stressful moment.
That's an important unit to save right here. Charge is on the way, a 2nd Robo and a Stargate. I wonder if that Stargate might possibly be for Oracles. It's really one of the best ways to help deal with Lurkers. Just tag them all because Hydra's snipe observers so readily. But still, he sees that Lurker Den is incoming, and SOS pushing across the map.
That's right, SOS in pretty good position. 4th base being acquired here for both parties, actually. And we're going to see if this Lurker push is going to go as well as sOO needs it to. Now, it can be a game where we end up seeing sOO forced back, and he's got a bunch of Lurkers defending in every possible angle, but then you have a game where the Zerg's boxed in and Protoss has a lot of liberty on the map. And it's definitely not a situation you want to be in against a player like SOS, who actually has some of the best harass we've seen ever in StarCraft 2. We don't really talk about it as much, but when you think about it, as smart and as weird as his builds are, it's his harass that allows him to close it out a lot of the time.
Yeah, you're actually quite right about it. And it's like a strategic form of harassment. He just kind of knows that you're going to be pulled apart in a certain way, and he goes after it. It's not like he has like zest, like control and execution. It's something else, and kind of why it's so hard to even talk about. This guy is like a figment of our imagination or something. You know, he's like the player we wish would exist, and for some reason does.
Supplies right now, 149 to 161. Keep in mind the lurkers are very supply intensive here for the Zergs, so we really want to watch and see if those lurkers can stay alive and how many kills they can get, because once those are wiped out, Zerg really doesn't have much of anything.
Yeah, now look at this. He's getting Baneling speed to go along with these lurkers. This is cool because speed lots are pretty good against lurkers overall, but if you have some Banelings to erase them, then suddenly you're just kind of fighting against Archons and Immortals, which, I mean, they'll do all right against lurkers, but if you have enough Ling and Hydra, you should be all right. So this is, I love how sOO is trying to come back here. sOO is really showing his own confidence in his play. sOO from earlier on in the season, I think, would have all-in after losing that third hatch, but instead he's backed up, he's playing a macro game, he's trying to defend everything.
So we have this army that's constantly rotating on both sides. The lurkers are this mobile defense. It's like moving these turrets around the map to defend. And what SOS has, we saw at the bottom of the map, was a warp prism that he's got set up. He wants to wait for the moment when he feels like Zerg might be a little bit too top-heavy, a little bit too much defense in the front. Here we go. Okay, this is what he's trying to do, although it looks like the Hydras are going to deny him from doing it, but he wanted to get a bigger warp in here, possibly.
Yeah, if he could get something like a bunch of speed lots in that main base, that is a great way to pull apart a lurker player. They can't have everything everywhere, but sOO's defense is minimal, and it is beautiful. Just a couple Hydras holding that back while SOS continues to rotate around, continues to try to get some damage while he takes his fourth, and it looks like sOO's going to counterattack there.
And by the way, sOO's actually taking his... sOO is really, really good in his mid game.
This is the best we've seen him since his last finals.
I completely agree. He's coming in here, he tears apart those workers, doesn't even really lose that many Lings. Now retreats over here to the upper right. Frankly, sOO is not only defending this, sOO is continuing to expand at a faster rate than SOS. I think SOS was hoping to keep him boxed in. He's going to set up for a Ling bust over here on this Nexus and just start to stifle the economy here for SOS. You know, I think this is, honestly, these are the best games I've seen sOO play in his entire life. I mean, he looks so good.
He looks like he's on level like he used to be. In fact, like, we always talk about Dark's the best Zerg in the world. I don't think we can say that at this moment. This play from sOO so far in these first 4 games,
really good.
Yeah, no, this is godly play. He is really on top of his game right now.
He's denied the Warp Prism again.
With the fewest Hydras ever. Normally you see 4 or 5 Hydras.
It's like 2 Hydras or something. I think in some cases even 1.
He is like playing like a man on fire right now. He's just got a great spread. He's
here we go.
He's forced into a small location, but it's still working out. Oh my God.
Denying some of those before they could finish warping in.
Very important moment.
A counterattack army over here in the upper right. He wants to try to come in there, and he gets these Banelings in there, but they're going for the workers. Doesn't look like he has enough to take out that Nexus. He does take out 8 probes.
Okay. SOS still, he's kind of on top of things, right? He's got some damage done with those Zealots that got out of the drop. He pulled the probes. He's kind of seeing everything that's happening too. But SOS, I mean, sOO right now, it's like tit for tat. He's just, anything that's happening, he is responding to in kind. It's fantastic.
Look at the amount of minerals and gas saved up here, Artosis, for sOO.
No,
he can switch into any tech he wants. He's getting a Spire here as well.
Oh, I love the Spire, yeah.
So
there's 12 Immortals out.
Yeah.
A Broodlord kills this army.
He's going to have to upgrade stilts for his army so that he can actually start to hit air units with those Immortals. Zerg's continuing to push in here as he does, in fact, need to free up some supply. He has cut this army in half, but sometimes that can be a good thing for Protoss as long as they can take out the Hydras in the front. Then these Immortals end up forking out, or rather these Lurkers end up spreading out their attacks to the Immortals.
This Lurker push looks pretty scary right now. The Hydra's actually attacking into this Archon. I love the pickoff right there. In fact, even Goops that Robo, which is quite nice. Lurker's moving forward right now. Storm's going to come down, though. This
I don't
could
like
be
this.
bad.
I don't like this at all for these Lurkers. This was an overextension here.
Now, it's one thing to free up your supply. I think it's another thing to lose all those lurkers. When we get the production tab up here, I'm really curious to see how many air units we're going to have coming up for Zerg, because 10 Immortals is not going to do anything against air. And when you push out with Immortals, if you take out that army and it's just the Immortals on the map, the Immortals cannot really run away. They all end up dying.
Yeah. Well, if he had made a huge round of mutas, maybe he can actually end up killing off a bunch of this.
I don't think he did.
No, he made a Hydra Link Bane. So I guess SOS will pull back now, but I do have to say you're right that Lurker attack, it wasn't about freeing up supply, because if it was, he would have switched what units he made. Instead, he just remade the same units.
Yeah.
If he had gone from just one angle, if you allow Protoss to flank Lurkers, Lurkers are bad. But if you use Lurkers in a position where Protoss has a hard time flanking, they become super powerful. So I just think he chose the worst spot. If he attacks any other spot but between that little choke where he got flanked, that Lurker attack trades a lot better than it did.
It was truly an ambitious play there.
Yeah.
By sOO to try to cut off, the circulation between the three, basically given Protoss bases to the top center and the upper right. But now, SOS is beginning to stabilize in this game.
Yeah, and you know what? He needs to attack pretty soon, because that Greater Spire is on the way. It's almost done, and this Immortal-based army is going to just be in a really rough spot if they're fighting against Broodlords. So this is the moment. SOS has to get something done.
All right, these Immortals on the way to becoming obsolete the longer they're in this game. He does try to push in here. I think he's a little bit uncomfortable pushing any further. Instead, he wants to try to secure this base in the upper right. I do like the creep spread, by the way, over there in the lower left. That will eventually be cleaned up. And we have 5 Broodlords on the way.
Okay, those 5 Broodlords are sOO's lifeline. They are going to pair fantastically with the rest of his army. There are no air units other than Oracles out right now for SOS. So he's going to have a very hard time shooting up some Archons, Stalkers, and High Templars are going to be his only defense. But don't forget, he is more mobile than these Broodlords.
That's true. And things like Zealots can actually be a real headache. Coming down here, he's going to try to hit in 2 different locations at once as he pushes in over to this location. Broodlords are here. He needs to get more units underneath them for the time being. And he is beginning to drive SOS back.
Ooh, very good move, holding him back. I thought for sure SOS would be able to snipe that hatchery, but sOO keeps it alive, cleans up both Zealot harassments as well, not losing a single base. But during all of this, Tasteless, somehow, some way, SOS has taken the top right.
It's very impressive so far here by SOS. I'm worried, though. I think SOS has to play the tactics game. He has to try to run away from these Broodlords, hit these key bases, and then retreat, and that seems to be exactly what he's doing. Just enough units over here. He gets the kill. He runs out, and right now, Zerg may be very secure in the bottom right quadrant, but that does not mean that he's going to have enough to last in a very, very long game. These bases are mining out incredibly quickly.
They really are. This is getting to be a crazy game. Oh my god, a big blink forward. This is so few Stalkers, though. He'll be lucky to get 2. Definitely not going to pick up a 3rd one.
Okay, you know what he's trying to do? He might be trying to trap this army in the bottom left.
Ooh.
Archons, although I think the army in the bottom left is going to get away.
Yeah.
But that's what he was aiming to do, was to box that in, because this is so much gas.
Okay.
That it would be hugely problematic. But instead, because the Immortals and Archons are so slow, he's making a beeline to the north. He's going to try to hit these bases that are the fresh expansions, most certainly going to be the last to mine out for the time being.
By the way, all these Zealots going all over the place, this is giving sOO such a big headache right now. Having to back up with this killer army that he has, but he's remaking some of these Lurkers, Hydras, and Lings. That is such an interesting composition. So much range, a ton of splash damage. You need air to deal with this. Are you going to blink under Broodlords that have Lurkers underneath? I don't think so.
I think the pressure's getting into SOS. He's making 2 Dark Shrines, Artosis. That's not a strategy. He's coming in over here. This is Lurkers, Hydras, Broodlords, and Banelings now.
Oh, God.
And this, I do not know if SOS can contest.
That mothership core was morphing into a mothership, will not be able to make it the whole way. And in fact, sOO might be able to take down SOS. He's running away right now, just giving up this base.
Oh, dude, he's going to go for a counter. SOS going to go ahead and try to carve out the heart of sOO's base in the bottom right.
Well, this is a great move. sOO is actually bringing back all of his ground units. I don't know if that's a great choice, because if he loses all his ground units, the Broodlords can be taken out.
Look at these probes just shooting up in the air.
Oh, my God.
It looks hilarious. Well, you know what? I got to say, I think sOO is really winning the positional game. Let's just see. That's cleaned up, but this expansion is more of an outpost than an econ advantage for the time being here for SOS.
You know, luckily for SOS, by the way, he did make yet another base when he lost that one. Yeah, sure, 28 probes go down, but he is trying to stay in this game. He's trying to make something happen. He's still got a solid army size. Just his economy has quite fallen apart.
I need to update you guys on this. It's 80 drones for sOO, 34 probes here for SOS.
Man.
SOS is going to have to use the tools he's got at his disposal for a long time before he can catch up economically. Right now, sOO is a behemoth on this map, forcing SOS to respect every move he makes.
Well, this composition kills anything Protoss has
Not
on
the
the
second
ground.
Dark Shrine! No! Now he's only going to have one to escape.
Well, maybe this was the plan all along. He knew sOO would comp and
Start
kill this
warping
base.
DTs in now!
That's right. He's like, well, no more DTs for you, but instead there's DTs everywhere.
How did he do it? Oh, he did it anyways. There's actually one DT over here. It is going to get cleaned up. Right now, SOS is spread uncomfortably thin with basically the most immobile Protoss army in the game. Now, it's SOS. He's crafty. He's smart. He can come back from almost anything. But against sOO, perhaps the most punishingest Zerg we've seen, I don't know if it's going to work out.
Oh, man. SOS is pulling every trick out of his sleeve at the moment. He's got a mothership. He's a master of the mothership. Maybe he can find some way to rotate around the map.
The mother of the mothership, the grandmother ship. Is what SOS is.
It better be the grandmother ship right now. It better have Vortex, in fact.
That's right.
Because that's about the only way he's going to be able to stop sOO. sOO's death ball is so scary. Ling's going in towards that third base, going to be able to take that down. SOS barely mining here in the top right.
Oh, my God. He's almost taking out more positional locations than expansions themselves. Really, the only thing keeping SOS in this game is a really dislodged expansion in the upper right. It looks like he's trying to remake the one in the top center, which may end up being what can keep him in here for a little bit longer. Now, sOO doesn't want to overextend because as much money as Zerg has, this army is so expensive that losing it would knock him into a very uncomfortable spot in this game. So he has to push.
Remake it.
No, there's no way.
Look at the mini-map here. He's actually not mining that much. Like, he's mined out his first 4 bases. There's, like, nothing left of them. So if somehow SOS takes a big fight, he can still win. Oh, some big force shields coming down.
Now, he had some good storms there, but he doesn't have endless amounts of those. And eventually, if sOO keeps dodging, like he's doing, see that? If he keeps dodging this, okay, so he's zoned him out. He needs to send something over there to get that expansion.
These are great Psy Storms, Tasteless, but he needs more than just the Psy Storms. The Broodlords are doing massive work. He can't deal damage to them. DT coming down to one of the new bases here of sOO.
Okay, he's coming in here right now. Some storms do go down. There's nothing mining up there in the top center. Really, nor should there be, considering how this game's going. Now, SOS is going to try to push down here, possibly recalling back home. He's trying to just play this really long chess game where he's forcing him to respect this. We haven't done a mineral check just yet, but I'm curious how many more minerals are actually at sOO's expansions.
Oh, God. A lurker drop over here stops mining. That is the only thing that SOS was mining from, Tasteless.
Yeah.
His first, second, and third base are all dried up, but
his minerals are not even moving. He's only at 235. He hasn't grown at all.
And all sOO has is that high ground base kind of in the north. And I don't think there's that many minerals there. So this is getting to the point where it's like, we don't know what's going to happen. Obviously, sOO is favored, and it looks like he can win.
He's going to get this Nexus in time!
Close!
No.
So sick. It's invisible now.
Yeah. Apparently the mothership's pretty good.
Yeah.
So, very nicely done. Even though there's only 20 probes, that's enough to kind of get up to that expansion, and he just needs to make a few more, and he's still mining from it. By the way, even though sOO has this big, scary army, he's not really mining that much here. In fact, I don't believe any of his bases have full mineral patches.
Their income is the same right now, just to put that into perspective. But there's more Broodlords on the way. The Broodlords are the real killers here.
That's right.
He doesn't have anything to counter Broodlords. Like, what he needs to do is maintain Cloak on his army, storm away everything, and then maybe he can kill the Broodlords. But that is a tall order.
By the way, he's really committing with these Broodlords.
Yeah.
Now...
Dude, man. The thing is, with 15 Hydras, you can't even sneak in some Void Rays. It would be great if you could make some Tempests, but his income is so poor. Okay, nice blink forward there, picking off anything he can. Nice Psy Storm as well.
Okay.
Just getting
any
value.
unit, even just like an Overseer,
Yeah.
a Hydra, anything he can shave off. The Brood Lords are you really can't get much slower than this. So he's going to try to come up here. He might try to poke this expansion. Now, sOo rather has to be very patient with the way he positions his lurkers. He takes it out.
Oh, my God. Oh, great sniping on some of these. And we might want to see a recall coming up here.
It looks like he wants to fight, at least for a little bit here.
I think he lost a little bit too much there.
I think it was a few seconds too late.
He lost all of his High Templars during that. That is really rough.
No, he's got 3 now.
Yeah, he just reworked
Oh, I'm
those
sorry.
in.
Okay.
He had 4 or 5 at the beginning of that, but lost quite a few. This is still very tough. He is getting some value in some of these fights. If he somehow wins with all these rotations and warps home, Magnus Carlsen, move over. Like, SOS is winning the Chess World Championships next year for sure.
That's right.
If he somehow gets his way out of this game.
But I think sOo might have too many queens this game.
Yeah, I think you're right about that.
He is really pushing through here hard. I think this may be the beginning of the end, as he's now finally gotten this Protoss army cornered up here, and it's much more difficult for Protoss to loop around to the right side of the map and do that damage. He's going to come up here. He's going to take this out. He just has to get that stronghold in the northeast, and he will close this game out, and it will be a 3-1 lead here for sOo.
Okay, he's retagging the army. He's moving forward, trying to take out some more bases. Maybe a base trade could pull this off, but he needs magnificent Psy Storms coming out as sOo tries to chase. He's just less mobile, though.
All right, he takes his hatch out.
That mothership is taking a ton of damage.
He's trying to pull it back. He's trying to pull it back. It looks like it might be out of range of the
Just barely gets out. Recalls to this third base. He only has 2 High Templars, 1 Archon, 6 Stalkers left, 4 is anti-air. A free Broodlord. That's nice.
That's something. However, I think this expansion most certainly will go down. And if I'm sOo, I would be willing to sack my bottom bases to get this, because the minerals that sOo has, he can restabilize.
That's right.
And really, the amount of minerals, in fact, there's just probes hidden in the upper right.
SOS has nothing, man. His army is all that's left. He has not been able to continue mining. His bases are all under siege. Yeah, he's going to pick off this base, it looks like, but there's another one in that bottom left still. Oh, God, he's not even going to get this one, is he?
Oh, and a time warp goes down here. That's not going to help him out that much. I guess he knows there's not really anywhere to recall to.
No, I guess not. When you're going to go back to your third base yet again, that is not going to work for much longer. Trying to pick off another base.
Okay, some more storms go down here.
Yeah,
again,
quality.
Zerg maxed out, though. And that's it. GG. Wow. That was so sick by sOo. I mean, he's doing this to SOS Artosis. This man goes to the finals, dude. This guy just does it. But he's not done yet, guys.
No, not yet. It is 3-1 right now in sOo's favor. That was an awesome game on both sides. Don't forget how that opened. He got a hat trick, killed the third base while taking his own.
Yeah.
And sOo was like, that's fine. I'll just take 2 more bases. I'll re-expand. I'll get up into my lurkers.
You know what I feel like?
That was a sick comeback.
I feel like SOS is a really witty kid in Catholic school, but sOo is a nun with a ruler.
Oh my gosh.
Cut that out, obey. Play a normal game.
This is a crazy series, Tasteless. Can SOS still fight back? sOo looks a bit too strong right now, but it's SOS, so you cannot count him out of anything.
I do wonder if SOS goes for a more normal game. He just needs to play, I think just needs to play a macro game. He's doing this really fancy stuff, and half the time it's working, but then sOo just stabilizes.
Yeah.
He's a very resilient Zerg.
Yeah.
Almost any other Zerg would fall against techniques like this, and that's normally how SOS's games go, is we're like, what's he going to do? And then we try to predict it, and then you and I are wrong, and then he wins the game. And we think, man, that's really good, because none of the other pro gamers can stop it. But today, sOo is just too solid.
No,
he's showing that concrete, solid play can beat this trickery coming from SOS.
Every one of his defenses and decisions, and it's amazing. The repositioning of his army, he had one of the most immobile armies we've ever seen, and SOS was running him around the map there. He still was able to hold on, still was able to win.
We're going to go to a short break. When we come back, game number 5 in tonight's GSL Code S, a fight to get to the finals.
지금까지 방구하러 가서 이런 나쁜 말 들어본 적 있어?
모두가 쉬쉬해온 방에 대한 나쁜 정보.
다방면으로 보자. 다방.
그 제 아이디를 추가를 하면은 제가 나와요. 사연 주세요. 씨가 넌 이미 늦어버렸어. 늦어버린 것 같다. 사람이 굉장히 좋아 보이나 봐요. 미안하지. 야, 니 용기를 좀 가지고 먼저 고백을 해봐라. 온 과에 붙인다. 뭉청아. 오빠야. 그기 애면 너는 그의 촉촉한 목소리에.
빛의 힘을 보여드리죠.
반갑네.
얘들아, 힘을 빌려줘. 누구도 나를 막을 순 없어. 방해하겠다면 전부 부숴주지. 판타지 마스터즈 2.
양이놈 장난이 없다 근데 진짜.
땅땅치기 신제품 매콤 찹스를 지금 탱탱이하고 먹어보도록 하겠습니다.
먹어볼게요.
쫄깃하면서 겉은 바삭하면서 매콤하면서 약간 맛있는 매운맛?
맵다가 아니고 매콤이에요 진짜로.
열심히 입 털고 맛있는 때 순간 나는 화북이다. 매콤 찹스 네 사랑해주세요.
마음이 가는 대로 즐겁고 신나게 쓰자. 캠퍼스 시리즈.
아 진짜 오늘 어떻게 되든 나 헌팅한다. 아무나 친구를 누르는 거야. 뭐 유혹을 해봅시다. 24시간 뒤에는 이 사람이 못 봐요. 셋, 히. 바랑 합방할래? 이야. 새로운 인연을 만드는 거에 중점을 둬야 됩니다. 아, 남자는 안 돼. 빵야. 누구나 보면 반할 수밖에 없을 겁니다. 저도 또 같이 소개팅 같이 나갔으면 좋겠습니다.
지금까지 방구하러 가서 나쁘다는 말 들어본 적 있어?
모두가 쉬쉬해온 방에 대한 나쁜 정보.
다방면으로 보자. 다방.
2017 Hot 6 GSL Season 1 Code S. When it's silver.
sOo with 3 wins. SOS with only 1. If sOo wins one more game, he's going to his 5th finals in the GSL Code S. SOS, with yet to become a GSL Code S champion, is hungry to redeem himself. I can't talk, Artosis. Is hungry to redeem himself.
Yeah.
After last season, when he got to the finals and lost to Beyond. But right now, this is a tall order here for SOS.
To come back 3 wins in a row against sOo, the way sOo has been playing tonight, near impossible. But if we made a short list of who could do it, SOS would appear on that list.
You're right. He might be the only guy who can do it, Artosis.
Maybe.
Did you know that SOS spelled backwards is SOS?
Oh.
Mind blown.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
What if sOo, there were 2 sOs.
You know what?
And it was SOOS.
Wow.
sOs.
Wow. Maybe because SOS's playstyle is so weird. He's like those aliens in Arrival where he sees the game from the start to finish. He sees the game all at once.
That's why he has 2 O's in his name.
But here's the thing. sOo speaks the SOS language.
Oh my god.
And SOS is like, I'm just trying to help you guys. And then sOo kills him. We're going to see. We're going to see, guys.
Did you actually see that movie?
I just... I only read the clip notes. We are going into Game 5. Can SOS come back? Or is sOo going to close this out? We're going to find out soon. This is the GSL Code S round of 4 with sOo versus SOS. In the bottom right, in the blue, he is
sOo.
And before you guys tweeted me, I didn't see Arrival yet. Sorry, guys. By the way, you know that movie Titanic?
There really weren't even
You know that movie
spoilers there,
Titanic, guys? The boat is hit by an iceberg at the end.
Holy
All right,
crap.
I'm spoiling everything. In the bottom left, in the red, he is
Jin Air Green Wings SOS.
Yeah. And another spoiler, in Star Wars, Dumbledore is Wesley Crusher's dad, guys.
What?
Yeah,
No.
crazy.
I'm never watching this stream again.
Yeah. Nor should you.
All right, so SOS scouted to the north, and now he's going to go to the upper right. Now, a little bit of anxiety most likely here from SOS because you really, if you're down this much, you do want luck to be on your side where you scout them in the first moment.
You're definitely right about that. And in fact, even for like prison play, this makes it harder and stuff.
Yeah.
But again, like if someone is to reverse all kill, it's probably SOS. And I think at this point, it's like it seems so obvious that SOS should lose this that almost some pressure should go away. And if SOS always plays like he's got nothing to lose, this is the real moment for him to go crazy, Tasteless.
Probe finally coming in now. Again, these builds, you know, in this meta in StarCraft 2, they don't really tell us that much other than nothing completely insane has gone down. It's going to be the next few minutes from here where we see the tech choice, the unit choice. Now, when sOo in this position, he has a lot of room for flexibility. I don't know that he's going to deviate from how he's playing because he just seems so solid.
Yeah.
Especially in that last game. Losing a hatch like that, 3-base to 3-base, and then coming back and having a sick lurker push.
Yeah.
And then into Broodlord push. And even though SOS is like scrambling around the map and he's kind of outmaneuvering sOo,
Yeah.
like that game went on way longer than it should have.
Yeah.
sOo doesn't care. He's already seen the future.
No, it's wild what we've actually seen here. Okay, everything on the line right now, it looks like a DT draw to open up here for SOS. And there's a lot of branches you can do off this. You can do 2-base all-ins. You can go for a blink after a 3rd base. You can go into charge like normal after a 3rd. There's a lot of different play for this type of strategy.
It's also important to note that it's not as much of a gamble in this build in Legacy as we've seen.
Yeah.
If you guys have been watching StarCraft 1, I know we got new viewers, we got people that have been watching the StarCraft 1 stuff, and of course you guys that are only watch StarCraft 2, they're yelling at your monitor like, I know, Tasteless.
this is important to note. This is not that risky because you just can morph them into Archons.
Yeah.
And then you've got a good harass build. So you have the
it's,
opportunity for to do some quick, cheap damage, and then you switch right into one of the toughest harasses, I would say, in early game StarCraft 2.
Yeah, and it's like it's one of the safest, most solid builds that really relies on skill for the Protoss player. Like, it's just this and opening with an Oracle are the two builds that you do if you think you're better than your opponent. You know, it's like there's not a whole lot that's going to get screwed up. There's not a lot of randomness to it. So let's see here. The Overlord continuing to scout around a little bit. He did see the Robo we saw before. I guess he'll now see the Dark Shrine and really 100% know what's going on.
Now,
so this is something he deals with every single day.
Now, if you've seen, or excuse me, if you have not seen our previous games, and you're wondering what this looked like so far, basically SOS was that guy on a skateboard that could take a bottle full of water and flip it up once, and it would land sitting upright.
Yeah.
And then Sue would come in and punch him in the face and say, "Play a normal game." That's been the story of today.
That has been
so
the
we're gonna
story.
see. We're gonna see if it, if Sue's going to do it again, or if SOS can begin to engineer some kind of a crafty comeback. Now, this is his second Warp Prism, so this is hyper aggressive, and he's hoping to out-multitask his opponent.
This is super weird. You never actually see this. 3 DTs per Prism here. He might hit 2 spores at once with 3 DTs. Look, these ones are going down. Okay, there are the Lings trying to prevent them, and now he goes into natural at the same time.
Well, no, he's not controlling right.
Oh, God, yeah, no, he's not. But hold on, the main base.
8 drone kills.
Oh, this is really solid so far. And guys, as long as he's not losing Prisms and DTs, this is fantastic.
Oh, my God.
This is fantastic right now for SOS.
Oh my God, the pickups
doesn't quite get that one.
Pickups are sick. He's going to go for the layer. Where's the Overseer? Where's the Overseer?
There isn't one yet. He's morphing one at the moment.
He's actually trying to chase. Okay, now
he's playing safe.
Yeah, he's not just right-clicking that and being like, I hope I kill this.
Yeah,
he's actually doing a really clean game.
Like, and there's no problem at all with having a bunch of DTs because you just make them into Archons, and the Archon is just such a good unit against Zerg. Really against anything. It's a great unit in this game. So this transitions very well. He has his third base making as well.
Yeah, and this is such a pin here for Sue. I mean, he really can't leave home. Now the 2 Archons are done, and now he's going to come back in here. Oh, needs to be careful. If you lose that Warp Prism, you do lose the Archons. Yeah. The Archons are only good with the Warp Prism there.
And, I mean, the Archons as well, you can't be losing those. They're so important. He's put a ton of money into them.
I got to say, though, Sue really did stabilize. The drone count right now is a little bit lower here for Sue, but just based off the previous games we've seen, it's not a huge deal. Now, just judging from the way the gateways are spread out like this, it may be an indicator for us, since we can see everything, that he really wants to do a timing from here.
It could be, yeah.
And remember some of these other weirder games that SOS was playing, where it's like he does some harass, he does some damage, and then he doesn't do the standard timing. He may be doing the opposite here. He may have 1 Warp Prism to push and 1 Warp Prism to simply warp in a few, like a DT or an Adept or something over there. So
you look at the big force he has above the third, and then he's coming in the natural with the other Prism that only has a couple DTs. Like that force he has as charge finishes, he might be able to do something like snipe the third hatch if these units get out of position.
Yeah. The Overlords come in here. I do not believe these gates have been scouted. Not adequately.
Well, I don't think he's had much time to scout at all, to be honest. In fact, he doesn't even see that there's a third base at the moment.
Yeah, he's actually playing really in the dark. We're going to see just how stable of a player Sue is, how much of a tightrope walk he can really do with those drones and those attacking units.
Big charge in right now, and a big drop in the main base. Double Archon. He should be pulling out of the third base area. Most of Sue's forces are here and push it back. But a big push in the main, going after the lair.
The lair is about at half health. The other army up here at the top. It looks like Sue's going to drive back the north fight. But in the main, the lair will go down.
Yeah, he continues to warp in the main base right now, choosing to fight against everything, including Broodlings. The rest of his army did get chased down a bit, but he has some more units coming back towards the third. I think Sue's leaving units there. He doesn't want to lose the third base as well.
He's actually hitting hard right now with these Zealots. 20 drone kills just in the past few seconds.
Okay, as these Zealots go down, he's going to want to pick up the Archons, maybe go reinforce that third base, maybe just go home and macro up. But with 20 drone kills, as well as killing the lair, This is a huge moment for SOS in this game.
We have a Spore Crawler trying to get underneath that War Prism. War Prism does manage to escape.
Templar Archives coming up for Storm, no doubt. More Immortals being produced at home as well.
Oh, he could lose
sOO
this.
is sitting here on 2-base economy right now.
Yeah, he is, but don't forget about game, what was it, 4? Yeah, he actually, he managed to be on 2 bases, and then he come back with a really solid push. I think a push is going to be a little bit trickier on this map. This is not Abyssal Reef. And I also don't believe that sOO's going to be done with this pressure. I think instead of him playing a fancy tech game, he stays on a more like iron solid push.
Okay.
Coming back here, because while Zerg is hiccuped economically trying to reclaim that main base, you can just do another push with the Zealots and the Archons. You can still harass. It's still kind of a clunky Zerg army versus a really solid pushing force here from Protoss.
Yeah, this isn't the greatest army. It's like some speed roaches. They just got +1. And he's got like a small amount of Ravagers in there. That's not really that scary. This is something that SOS can deal with. By the way, I think he lost that Prism with the 2 Archons that you were talking about. I think sOO might have gotten that. We didn't catch it, but I only see 1 Prism now.
You might be right.
I'm not sure, but
he's going to back up. Now, this is a pretty intimidating amount of Archons, and this, look at this. This pushes beautifully into the 4th.
That 4th base can be canceled in a second.
Yeah, immediately canceled because that War Prism at the top, Zerg might have been uncomfortable to try to expand there. Zealot's coming in. Good dodge on the Corrosive Biles, but he's not stopping. Guardian Shield is set up. He's coming in here with a shove.
Oh, man, the Prism right outside. Warping Zealots as well. Continues to push forward. 3 Corrosive Biles come down. No connections.
sOO with the trying with the defense of his life, but SOS is pushing through. This could be the killing blow.
SOS with this
oh my God, the Roach Ward. The Roach Warren's right there.
Oh God.
And the Immortals are coming in here. There's really not that much he can do. SOS just trying to keep his army gripped together. He needs to get these Immortals to get down there and connect with these Roaches because the Roaches can do nothing against 3 Immortals.
That is true, and he's pulling all of his drones now, Tasteless. This could be the end of this game.
He's coming through right now. This is too much damage. The Zealots at the top taking out those Roaches. Meanwhile, this expansion about to go down. There is no way to come back from this. GG! SOS wins his 2nd game.
All right.
The comeback is real.
Bringing it back. 3-2 right now.
Wow.
Sure, sOO's still going to be on match point, rather. But SOS has to be feeling a little bit better here, taking some of the wind out of sOO's sails. And if he can bring to that game number 7, we know who cracks under pressure and who doesn't here out of these 2 players.
And you know that SOS is a player who's the scariest in a best of 7. The longer the series goes on, the more he begins to adapt. It was that wonky SOS, only I do this stuff kind of style. But at the same time, he made a few alterations. He didn't do anything weird like do some damage, try to take another main, try to tech up in a traditional way like he did in Game 4. No, he doubled down on his tech. He just said
double
more
prism,
Zealots,
60
more
Ts,
Archons, more Prisms, and kill Zerg.
Yeah, and kill Zerg.
Kill the Zerg.
Well, that was easier said than done, but you know what? sOO had some solid defense there overall. SOS showing us he's more than just strategies. He's multitasking as well, pulling Zerg apart like legs off of a spider.
Ooh. Like, well, I was going to say, let's see if sOO can pull the legs off La Cucaracha.
Well, I tell you what.
I don't know. I'm scared of cockroaches, man. I'd be like, germs.
SOS never dies, Tasteless.
That's right. Well, let's see if that statement is true tonight as we go into Game 6. sOO versus SOS, a fight to get into the finals of the 2017, Season 1 of the GSL Codex. In the bottom right, in the blue, he is
sOO.
I like that. In the bottom left, in the red,
Jin Air Green Wings, SOS.
All right.
Okay, note right away. He put, well, is he going to put the other pylon over here? That's what I'm wondering. This is actually a pretty injured probe. So he's got to be pretty careful. Oh. He may be trying to fake him out. He might be saying, take the hatch. That's really pushable for me.
Definitely could be. In fact, even a Zealot on the way right now. And in fact, Cybernetics Core, all on one base. That's interesting.
sOs.
I do wonder what the plan is here. Sometimes, like, this could be something as crazy as a quick Mothership Core to try to, like, pylon push down this third.
He, like, goes over there. Maybe he kills all of the Zerg's depots in the reactor.
Oh, my God.
Maybe he does that.
That's
maybe he's going to do a Protoss versus Terran build, guys.
He might have to float his pylons over the creep, though, because you can't build on creep, right?
That's a good point.
Like,
yeah.
Oh, man.
So this is a really odd build that we're seeing here from sOs, guys.
Yeah, I think he might be going to cancel this third with pylon rush, Mothership Core, you know.
Yeah.
In fact, maybe even kill it. 2 Zealots. I can't think of anything else that this could be.
An Adept coming as well. Now, this pylon is going to go down, but we see the probe is...
Oh, God, yeah. Dude,
okay,
this is what he's going for. This is awesome.
We're bringing you right onto the ladder. Sue's like, oh, what is this style of play? It's called what happens on the ladder when you're not high enough in a rank.
That's exactly what it is called. Look at this. Pylon going down.
You gotta make the second pylon.
Dude, there's only 2 Zealots right now. Well, he can't make it there because that's... This is weird that I think that has to be a trapped probe he told to build that there. Anyways, he's got the 1 pylon on creep and 2 Zealots. Like, this is not very stoppable with the Mothership coming over. Mothership Core, rather. Oh,
okay,
my God.
he's activated it. This is a sick rush. The probe is still alive. The 2 Zealots doing fine. The Adept doing damage to Queen. Will hatch just in the nick of time here.
Is he going to be able to actually get it? If he kills this hatchery, he's in a great spot. If not, he's on 1 base against 2.
Oh, the Queens are pushing in. Oh, my God. Maybe he shouldn't have targeted the other units at all.
He's about to have another overcharge, though, Tasteless. Here we go. Oh, but 3 Queens. Will he be able to actually break through here? And with those speedlings, I think the answer is yes.
Denied. Or yes. I mean, either way.
Well, either way you want.
We were saying the same thing.
Matters who you're talking about.
Yeah.
But look, Oracle is on the way. SOS is not out of this yet. All the Queens were brought down to this third base. 1 Queen slowly but surely tiptoeing her way back towards that main base with no creep, which means the Oracle might be able to get massive amounts of kills.
Oh, my God. It's a very bruised hatchery. It's quite segmented between the 2 Zerg bases. And there's actually, oh my God.
This is not something that sOO was expecting, but maybe he should have.
I feel like when you watch SOS play, it's not like he just has a plan B. He has all the planned letters of the alphabet as he just continues to do these crazy strats. So this is coming through here now. Now, there's not a lot of energy here on that Oracle. He is beginning to take, I should say SOS is beginning to take this expansion, but that's a lot of lings.
It is a lot of lings. I agree with you on that one, Tasteless.
It's a lot of lings.
I'm looking at him. I'm counting him a little bit. Look at this funny wall he's making. SOS with, like, all these, you say plan A, B, C, D, E, etc. But look at the wall in. This is like wall in 3F. Okay,
yeah.
I've never even seen this wall that he's making as natural, but it will make it harder for Lings to get things done, so that's kind of cool.
He's also going to supply block the Zerg, it looks like.
Yeah.
With that next Overlord kill. Excuse me, another Overlord just now hatches to balance that out. But yeah, these 2 Oracles here, this is very punishing right now for the Zerg. I mean, the Zerg, even though Zerg's alive, doesn't mean the Zerg's necessarily winning. And Protoss is going to be in a very much so comfortable position having this additional base. Now, the hatchery is going to be healing up. The second hatchery in the game is going to be healing up pretty steadily.
Yeah.
So we'll see if this low HP, in the next few minutes here, is going to play a role depending on what kind of attack.
Yeah, like maybe if he did an immortal attack or something, he might be able to snipe it. I don't know if he's going to do that, though.
That's what I'm wondering, because sometimes, fights with Protoss and Zerg can take a little while. Mm-hmm. And if that's the case, maybe he just, manages to kind of hang on. During that fight, he's not getting glaives, but he's got chrono boost on the.
Did he mess up here and think he got glaives, but he didn't, or did he already get glaives? I'm a little bit lost right now. I don't think he got glaives, did he?
We'll see when the attack.
He was making oracles, so
we saw. I'm going to assume he's got glaives here.
We'll see, I guess, but
he's going to go ahead and come in. Now he's got the oracles here. He's got these adepts.
This is a big moment here for SOS. The Spine trying to zone everything out. 3 Queens mix in as well. Baneling's coming up. They want to see if they can get a connection. Not the greatest connection. Looks like the shade finishes.
Oh, this is actually a pretty tough
yeah.
spot here for SOS. In fact, this may be the beginning of the end here. He's bringing these queens over here, but the oracles are now going down. The rest of the adepts are going to be killed off. And I just don't know if you can recover from this.
He's definitely not getting the damage that he wanted. We don't see... Yeah, look, Glaive's just now starting as well. Definitely a big mistake. He did the same thing against Beyond, forgot Colossus range.
Okay, he did forget
in a crucial match. So this is a big deal. There's a lot of Lings out right now. There's no way he's going to find more damage.
This is really bad, man.
Yeah,
I mean,
Sue might be able to finish him out.
In my kind of disbelief here, just trusting that, you know, SOS would not make a mistake at this moment. This is a pretty big miss
yeah, it really
in this
is.
last game. Now, is he going to come up here and try to just get as many drones as he can and then shade away? He does. He does do some damage to that spine, but I after seeing the games we've already witnessed from sOO, the notion that the way that and I would say this is the worst performance from SOS out of this entire series so far.
Yeah.
Can you really imagine, no matter all the strategic depth that is in SOS's brain, that he can defeat a player who is as rock solid as sOO is, as
From
every
here?
minute passes on in a game like this?
From here, no. He's just sitting here on Glaives, right, or about to get Glaives finally, but with Baneling's speed on the way, this is a great counter. Now, he throws down a Templar Archives. This is where he might be able to save himself. If he can get Psystorm out and massacre Banelings and Hydras, that's where he can pick up the victory against sOO. But I don't think he can do any more damage attacking, and I don't even know if he's going to be able to hold on to his third base when sOO comes marching across with these upgrades finishing.
I agree. You know, the position that... Hold up.
Oh, my God.
A really good surrounder, and these Banelings connecting! Oh, my God. The Adepts now here in the main, but these Lings can do so much damage so quickly. He did a decent job splitting this up to a certain extent. However, I am worried these Adepts are not going to really be in large numbers back at home, and there is an inevitable counterattack coming here from sOO.
You are certainly right about that. Psystorm only just this moment starts, so that is not going to be done by the time Hydra Bane is going to be at his doorstep. I mean,
yeah, this is just such a naked expansion.
Yeah.
For what? I mean, there's just Templars and Pylons and not even really, really just nothing else.
He's even going to have to use his overcharges like right now.
Yeah. And I mean, he's going to burn out with those overcharges pretty quickly.
Yeah.
He's going to try to warp in. The Oracle, I believe at least one was taken out. So there's not going to be that much to defend in that regard either.
Yeah.
Let's see if he survives the attack. Now, there's a big gateway explosion coming up here for Zerg. Or for Protoss, rather.
Okay, if he can live through this, maybe he can start to come back. 2 Forges on the way. Psystorm's almost done. His upgrades are going to be starting, but this first attack is going to be brutal.
He's coming in here now. We see in this big fight, the Lynx now taking out these Pylons. The Hydra's coming in. The Archon will go down, but he's just barely warping it up at depths. In fact, this is a pretty scrappy Zerg army. He may want to back up.
Yeah, he might be able to snipe this Mothership core. That'd be great. Ooh, just barely backs up. Psystorm just finished, though. That's a big deal. He almost has 2 Psystorms per High Templar at the moment.
We see Zerg now.
Ooh, 10 probes.
Yeah, nicely done there by sOO. We see an expansion being taken over here. In the center of the map, more Banelings being morphed in.
Well, this becomes an interesting game, doesn't it? Because SOS did live here. His economy is not the greatest. His army is kind of wonky. And sOO has complete control, so he kind of gets to decide where to bring this.
But an overextension here by sOO with some good storms could be very problematic here. I mean, if SOS just gets off a few neat storms, he knocks that army back, and suddenly Zerg is hemorrhaging, especially a lot of gas units, the Hydras and the Banelings.
Yeah. Well, that's that's where mistakes definitely can be made. Psystorm is so fantastic against both of those units. But this army, if sOO continues to tech up from here, SOS, it feels like he'll always be just slightly behind on his tech, you know? He doesn't have a single Immortal out right now. We don't have a Prism on the map. His Robo is not even halfway done.
Some tagging going on here. A pretty bold position here for Zerg to try to take in the direct center of the map here on the Zerg side.
Yeah, it is, really.
Because it's not that easy to defend. It's very pushable. Oh, my God! Coming in, 4 probes. Not terrible here for
Yeah,
Protoss.
yeah.
I mean, that's a tolerable loss of probes in this game.
Yeah.
Although he is still trying to play catch-up here with his worker count.
I love how he's posturing, by the way. He's not quite going over to creep and, in fact, taking his own kind of forwardish expansion, but he's zoning a bit. He's looking for Banes and Hydras and Lings out in the map that he can hit a storm on.
And you know what's funny about it? He might actually be forcing Banelings before sOO wants to make
Yes,
them.
yes.
I think Zerg is panicking a little bit.
I think you're right.
Banes and then saying, oh, wait.
Yeah.
You know, and then he's going to try to harass with them, but it
sOO's
seems like
making a lot of units. Like, look how many units he actually has right now. I guess he's got 71 drones, so he's got the economy he really wants. But,
but he's in that phase, though, where he's got a serious macro engine going for him.
Okay, still that 4th base coming up for SOS. Can he actually hold on? He's got his 3rd upgrade on the way. I believe we have +2 melee for Zerg, so that's pretty solid. And I think what just died there was the Oracle, so good pick off indeed. Can't really scout that well anymore.
And from here, it does appear Zerg's going to set up for a double-pronged attack.
Oh, my God.
Oh, my God. Nearly 360 degrees of damage inbound here. Hitting Templars, hitting the depths.
Oh, and that flank was just awesome from sOO. He's coming in, trying to get a victory right here. Baneling's trying to get past this Archon. All the Adepts trying to run out, but they are getting caught.
And now the Hydras are in here doing direct damage here to this Nexus. The Nexus will go down. There's a counterattack with Adepts, but it's not going to be enough. And GG, sOO in his 5th finals. What in the hell is going on?
sOO adding to his legacy, but hopefully not with another 2nd place. He'll be going up to face the winner of stats against Ryung at the GSL Codes finals. SOS, on the other hand, not quite able to repeat into that finals once again as he got it at the end of last year. A great series from both sides, but sOO just holding on strong against everything SOS threw at him.
I gotta say, man, sOO is just so rock solid no matter what SOS throws at him. And SOS, you know, I don't think he was a different SOS from the player we're used to casting to today. I think he was really smart, handled himself really well. He came into every game with a plan, and anything that was thrown at him, he knew how to maneuver around it. But ultimately, sOO just shut him down and said, play a normal game.
네, 어이스 선수의
Well, he was
도전은
unable in the
끝이
end to be
아니었네요. 다시 한번
unable to be able to do that.
최강의
But
모습을
let's go into the interview now with
어이스
sOO.
선수 결승 진출 축하드립니다.
감사합니다.
Congratulations once again. Thank you, says sOO.
와, 5번째 통산 GSL 5번째 결승 진출이에요. 소감 어떠세요?
This is your 5th GSL finals. How do you feel now?
하고 이제 5번째는 없을 거라고 생각을 했는데
네.
I never thought that I'd make another GSL finals. It feels like I'm dreaming.
생각하고
네.
또 우승해야 될 것 같아요.
아, 정말 감동적인 건
I think this is
5번째라는
really my
의미도
last
정말
chance.
크겠지만 2014년 이 4번째 준우승이었던 시즌 3
Why would he say that? He's so
2년
good.
반 결실이라는 점이 특히나 감동적인 것 같아요.
It's been almost 2.5 years since your last finals.
Wow, I realized it had been that long.
Time flies.
That's crazy.
We're getting old.
Yeah.
이 치고 올라오는 이제 저그들 보면서
A lot of people are saying that your career went down since that, and you wouldn't make it again.
그래서
What do you think about that?
2년 반 동안 좀 이제 놀면서 했거든요.
네.
근데 그게 좀 후회가 되고
네.
이제 막상 기회가 왔으니까
Yeah, I didn't really press myself a lot.
이게
I've been
예전에는
trying to just
몰랐는데
enjoy playing the game for
이제
the
와
last
보니까 되게 소중한
couple
것
and a half
같더라고요.
years.
그래서 이거 꼭
I didn't realize how precious this moment
어이스 선수
was.
눈가가 촉촉해졌어요. 그동안
Since I have this opportunity once again, you know, I'm going to do my best to
그럴 것 같은데
end up
떠오르는
winning.
사람 있으세요?
There must be a lot of people you want to say thank you to.
노호 형이
Anyone in particular?
제가 이기고 올라왔지만
네.
진짜 이번에 진짜 열심히 도와줬거든요.
네.
그래서
First of all,
도호 형한테
classic.
너무 고맙고 제가 막 짜증도 내고 그랬는데
네.
다 받아주더라고요.
오.
그래서
Classic
도호
helped him a
형한테도
lot with
고맙고,
the practice.
그리고 팬분들 감사합니다.
And when sOo is stressed out a lot, Classic was a great friend to him and helped him to relieve that
정말
stress.
멋진 결실입니다. 오늘 경기력도
And of course, a really big thanks to
특히나
all my
이
fans.
3, 4세트는 이긴 것 자체가 정말 말이 안 되는 거 아니에요?
저도 이제 힘들다고 생각했는데
네.
Well, your performance was just outstanding tonight. The third and fourth sets were ridiculous.
거의 판박이처럼
Anything to say about that?
해줘가지고 좀 예상대로 잘 풀었던 것 같아요.
와, 김도우 선수도 참
Once again,
대단하네요.
you know, Classic when I was practicing with him.
운영 능력을 보여줬던 그
Classic tried to
경기도
mimic
김도우
SOS as
선수와
best as he
연습했었을
could,
것 같은데.
and it really helped quite a bit.
원멸자랑
네.
투사도가 오는 것까지 똑같아가지고
와.
그래가지고
네.
아 진짜 완전 도우 형이다라고 생각했는데
네.
그 뒤에 좀 허를 찔리긴 했지만 그래도 그렇게 안 불리하다고 생각하고 열심히
Throughout the
하니까
game, I really felt like Classic mimicked SOS's play very well.
때는 정말 절망적이었을 것 같은데.
When the Immortal and a couple of Depths came to my base, that's something that Classic did to me as well. So it was exactly like I
이런
practiced
의미에서
for.
사실 결승전에 김도우 선수를 포함해서 그동안 어윤수 선수를 있게 해준 이 우승자 출신들의 선수들 오셔야 되는 거 아닌가요? 결승전에?
도우 형은
네.
온다고 하던데
네.
나머지 3명은
So for the finals, do you have plans?
네.
Are you gonna invite all your friends
왔으면
like
하는 사람
Classic?
또 없어요?
And all the people out there that help you
전부
help you
앞줄에.
get to the finals?
네, 앞줄에.
네, 저희는 이 4명의 우승자
Yeah.
선수분들을 간절히
They come sit up
기다리고
front.
있겠습니다. 어윤수 선수의 결승전에 꼭 찾아주시길 바라고요. 어쨌든 이제 결승전만 남았거든요.
네.
이제 결승전에 가게 됐으니까 제발 준우승 해주세요.
Deary is saying all those
많은
champions from
팬분들에게 한마디
SKT,
해주세요.
most of which won their titles off of sOo, they should come to the
사실 그렇게 말하시는
finals.
분들도 다들 응원을 바라고 있다고 저는 생각하기 때문에
네.
개의치 않고 또 열심히 해서
No, a lot of fans said congratulations for your second place coming up.
알겠습니다.
Any words for them?
그럼 결승전 때 또 좋은 모습으로 뵙겠습니다.
sOo says,
축하드립니다.
this time, I'm really going to make it happen.
자,
and I'm
이렇게
gonna
2년
grab that
반 만에
championship.
다시
Thank you
이
again.
전성기 때 모습 그대로 복귀해서 5번째
Well, this is about as exciting as it could be, Tasteless. sOo in his fifth finals. If he gets second place again, I think that we can close the file on sOo. Okay, we can officially say he will never be GSL champion if he doesn't win this time.
This is so crazy.
And look at this.
Look at this.
Tied with MVP's record for the most finals. Absolutely not tied with MVP's record for the most championships.
Wins. Yeah. Wow, look at that. The first Cirque finalist in the GSL since Legacy of the Voyage launched.
Wow, look at that. That's crazy.
Wow.
Man, and I cannot wait to see who faces him in the finals. Because... Oh, yeah.
The King of the North will march. Oh, no, maybe... Who would he be?
It's sOo? I know exactly who he is.
John
He's
sOo. John sOo.
No, he's a Zerg player, right? So he is actually... what's the name of the people that ride the horses?
Knights? What are you talking about?
No, man, the people out in the Calls people.
The Cal people.
The
Dothraki. The Dothraki.
The Dragonites. Yeah, the Dothraki. He's the Dothraki is what he is, okay? And he's about to go across the ocean right now and wreck some nerds.
He went to SOS and he went, a crown for a king. And he went, ah! As he melted his head.
That's it. Stats versus Young, guys. This is at 1 p.m. KST on Saturday. That's Friday night in USA. Make sure you watch us. It's crazy. Ryung has been around forever. He hasn't made a finals before. Stats. This guy is a perennial runner-up. Second IEM Gyeonggi. Second IEM Katowice. Top 4 in countless tournaments.
That's right.
If he goes up against sOo, it's the battle of the second places.
The battle of the silver medals. And of course, Ryung, who has been around since the very beginnings of StarCraft 2, mentored by Slayer's Boxer, but yet to get to a stage this big if he gets to the finals.
This is, I'm getting chills. This is such a good season,
so
Codas. It is wrapping up in the perfect way as well.
Guys, this has been such an awesome night. I have to say, I am really, really impressed that sOo played so solid against SOS. I mean, the fact that SOS was kind of flubbing there by the end,
he was like flubber, you know? Right?
Yeah. That's what I almost
my
said that
favorite
during the cast. I was almost like, he's like flubber!
Everybody was watching the cast be like, flubber, 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 say it tasteless. No, I mean, the fact that SOS in that last game was kind of falling apart despite, you know, the ideas behind his strats being so good. It's like sOO just deflects everything and shuts him down.
It was fantastic play.
It may take more of a straight-up aggro, macro, solid traditional player like Younger Stats to win. I don't know. We're going to see. Join us Saturday, guys. We love you. We'll see you next time.
Can we get a little higher before they drag us down with the